Evening, folks. Tonight we're gonna tonight we're gonna talk about Shang-Chi. Let me just while I wait for other guests to show, I'm gonna get the screen up, and hopefully other guests will come. I enjoy having other folks on to join me for these streams. And here we are, tonight's main topic: Shang-Chi. Yep, Chinese superhero inspired by done out of comic industry's inspiration of Bruce Lee, greatest martial artist actor of all time. Uh huh. Hang on. Yeah. Right here, you got the titular martial artist himself using the power of a dragon, and behind him is his love interest, Leiko Wu. Excuse me, so. Hang on. Huh. All right. Just gotta wait and see what happens. Still waiting for other guests to arrive, but for some reason, some folks don't seem to want to join. But let me check. Oh boy. Now, if anyone is watching, please let me know and I'll send you an invite. Yeah, let's go through. Clearly, I did not get this planned out well. Shang-Chi. Oh, no. Hang on. All right, let's get this page up and pray it doesn't freeze up on me. I really am getting so. All right. Shang-Chi, also known as the Master of Kung Fu and Brother Hand, is a superhero appearing in American comic books published by Marvel Comics. The character was created by writer Steve Englehart and artist Jim Starlin, debating in Special Marvel Edition 15, which came out on December 1973, in the Bronze Age of comic books, and starring in his own solo title until 1983. Described as the greatest martial artist alive, Shang-Chi has trained since birth to the ultimate fighter with a specialization in various unarmed and weapon-based wushu styles, including the use of the gun, nunchaku, and jian. Shang-Chi later assumed leadership of the Five Weapons Society and acquired the Ten Rings weapons. Hold on. Wow. Oh, wow. Ah, hi, Emily. Good to see you. Yeah, back to where I was. Shang-Chi was spun off from novelist Sax Rohmer's licensed property as the unknown son of fictional villain Dr. Fu Manchu. Later editions, his connection to Dr. Fu Manchu was underplayed. After Marvel lost the comic book rights to the latter's character, to get around this problem, the publisher had to rename Shang-Chi's father Zheng Zhou. Yeah, definitely copyright issues. Boy. Early 1970s, writer Steve Englehart uh, and Jim Stalin approached DC Comics to adapt the television series Kung Fu into a comic book, as DC parent company Warner Communications owned the rights to the series. DC Comics, however, was not interested in their pitch, believing the shows and the martial arts genre popularity would fade quickly. The duo then approached Marvel Comics with the idea to create Kung Fu-focused original comic. Editor-in-chief Roy Thomas agreed, but only if they would include Sax Rohmer's pulp villain Dr. Fu Manchu, as Marvel had previously acquired the comic book rights to the character and made their protagonist half white. Huh. Half white, huh? Huh. Engelhart and Stalin agreed. They developed Shang-Chi, a master of Kung Fu, who was. Ah, hi, Bootzilla.
Hi, Sergeant. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good. You able to hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good. Good. So how's your day going?
Fine, I've been having trouble getting in touch with other guests to bring on, but hey, at least you're here.
Yeah, yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't know much about Shang-Chi, like I said, but or like I told you, but except for the movie, but yeah, I'll just try to do the best I can.
Hey, SJ. Nice of you to join us, SJ. Thanks for stopping by. Anyway, they developed Shang-Chi, a master of Kung Fu who was introduced as previously unknown son of Dr. Fu Manchu. Though an original character himself, many of Shang-Chi's supporting characters, mostly Dr. Fu Manchu, Sir Dennis Nyland Smith, Dr. James Petrie, and Fa Lo She, were Romer's creations. Starlin left the series after set number 17, replaced by Paul Galassi, and Engelhart after 19, replaced by Doug Monch. No characters from the Kung Fu television series were officially included in the comic series, though in the 19th issue the character Lu Sun bore such a strong resemblance to Kuei Chang Kane that to avoid copyright issues, the character was given a mustache through the issues, with artist Paul Galassi. Shang-Chi's visual appearance was modeled after that of Bruce Lee. Ah, that's Jay saying hi to everybody in the chat. Make sure you like and share the stream, guys.
Hi, FJ. I think I saw Emily too in the chat. So hi, Emily.
Yeah, she's in the chat with Piranha Pouty as well.
Okay. Hi.
Yeah, they're all welcome to come aboard if they like. For now, let's continue. Shang-Chi first appeared in Special Marvel Edition number 15, December 1973. He appeared again in issue number 16, and with issue number 17, April 1974, the publication was retitled The Hands of Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu, amidst the martial arts craze in the United States in the 1970s. The book became very popular, surviving until issue number 125, June 1983. A solid run that included 4 giant-sized issues and 1 annual special collector's edition number 1. 1975, cover titled as Savage Fists of Kung Fu, reprinted stories from Deadly Hands of Kung Fu number 1 and 2, and The Deadly Hands of Kung Fu Special number 1, and Special Marvel Edition number 15. The character did several crossovers with other Marvel martial artists, including The White Tiger, Iron Fist, and Daughters of the Dragon, Colleen Wing, and Misty Knight. He appeared regularly in The Deadly Hands of Kung Fu. Shang-Chi. Hey. Thanks for stopping by. Good luck. Yeah, and you're free to join us whenever you can, too, on other streams as well. Yeah. Next, let's see here. Shang-Chi had 2 more short series. Master of Kung Fu, Bleeding Black, One Shot, issue 1990, and the Max miniseries, Master of Kung Fu, Hellfire Apocalypse, with artist Paul Galassi on art again. The character had 2 stories in the comics anthology series Marvel Comics Presents, including one by Moench that ran in the series' first 8 issues in 1988. Okay. And co-starred in the Moon Knight Special 1992.
Hey, Sergeant. I got a question. So, how far back does Shang-Chi go? Like, as far as the date or the year?
The year.
Yeah, like what is the origin? Like, when did it start?
December 1973. That's his first appearance.
Okay.
Yeah, more than 50 years ago.
Cool.
In 1995, Shang-Chi would be one of the revival titles produced by Milestone Media. According to writer Dwayne McDuffie, the title would show Shang-Chi using firearms, inspired by Kung Fu style by Hong Kong filmmaker John Woo. However, according to McDuffie, the proposal was canceled after the departure of the editor-in-chief Tom DeFalco and the death of Mark Grenwald the following year. 1997, the story arc starring Shang-Chi ran in Journey into Mystery through issues 514 to 516 and was intended to lead into a miniseries for the character in 1998. Let's continue. Although spun out of licensed properties, Shang-Chi is a Marvel-owned character and has been firmly established as part of the Marvel Universe with guest appearances in numerous other titles, such as Marvel Team Up, Marvel 2-in-1, Marvel Knights, and X-Men. One of the original licensed characters in the supporting cast have been either phased out or renamed in the more recent series and stories. In some appearances of his modern appearances, mentioned is the mate of his villainous father, either the cryptic terms of using a variety of new names due to Marvel no longer having the rights to Dr. Fu Manchu. In 2010, Secret Avengers number 6 through 10, writer Ed Brubaker officially sidestepped the entire issue via a storyline where the Shadow Council resurrects a zombified version of Dr. Fu Manchu, only to discover that Dr. Fu Manchu was only an alias and that Shang-Chi's father's real name was Zheng Zhu, an ancient Chinese sorcerer who discovered the secret of immortality. Similarly, Shang-Chi's half-sister, Fa Shui, was later renamed Zheng Bao Yu in 2013's Fearless Defenders number 8, written by Colin Bunn, while Smith and Peter Petrie have not appeared in any Marvel properties since the end of the Masters of Kung Fu series in 1983. Shang-Chi returned as a main character in the 2007 Years for Hire comic book. In 2009, the black and white one-shot of Shang-Chi Master Kung Fu was released, with stories written by Jonathan Hickman, Mike Benson, Charlie Houston, and Robin Firth, and illustrated by Tom Cocker, C.P. Smith, Enric Romero, and Paul Gulacy. 2014, the miniseries Deadly Hands of Kung Fu was released with Shang-Chi's appearance, written by Mike Benson and illustrated by Tan Ang Huat. In 2015, Shang-Chi starred in the Master of Kung Fu revival in the Secret War storyline, written by Hayden Blackman and illustrated by Taljik. The four-issue series is a wuxia-inspired story that takes place in the battle world domain of Kunlun and centered around Shang-Chi in his fight to overthrow his despotic father, Emperor Zheng Zhao. In 2017, after a 34-year gap, Shang-Chi once again starred in Master of Kung Fu 126th issue as part of Marvel Legacy reruns, written by mixed martial artist CM Punk and illustrated by Dalibor Talajak. In 2020, Shang-Chi starred in a self-titled 5-issue miniseries written by American-born Chinese author Jean Luen Yang, with art by Dyke Ron and Philip Tan. Initially set for a June 2020 release, the first issue was delayed to September due to COVID-19 pandemic. Shang-Chi starred in a new ongoing series by Yang and Roan in 2021, with Marcus Tao replacing Ron by the 9th issue. Following the release of the Marvel Cinematic Universe film, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Yang incorporates several concepts introduced in the movie to the Shang-Chi mythos, including the character Jian Li as Shang-Chi's real mother, who was based on Shang-Chi's mother, Ying Li, retconning Shang-Chi's white American mother and his mixed race heritage, the heavenly realm Talo, which was previously introduced by writer Mark Grenwald, Ralph Macchio, and artist Keith Poland in Thor number 310 and the Ten Rings weapons. So it was from the comics.
So it was. Okay, that's cool. And did you say Ralph Macchio?
Yeah, something
Karate
like
Kid,
that.
Ralph Macchio? Okay.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, the thing's been. Yeah, it, lots of influence has been brought into the genre through the inspiration of mixed martial artists.
Yeah.
of Bruce Lee. And as for Fu Manchu,
Okay. So
yeah,
I want to ask you a question. I think I know the answer because I think we talked about this before. You talked about it on a stream I've been on. But what did you think of the movie?
the movie was interesting, and it was kind of like the last of whatever good quality films Disney could put out right before they started rushing things out of control over the stupid DE over this constant lust for DEI and ESG score money and check stuff. Uh, Yeah, don't get me wrong. Yeah, this was by far the best they could have done on their own. After that, there was Spider-Man, and followed by Deadpool, Wolverine, and the Venom movies, and so far after that, you haven't seen much good
Yeah,
quality films or movies that have been able to garner enough attention to break even at the box office.
yeah. I agree. I don't hate this movie. I didn't hate the movie like most people. Well, I don't want to say most people, but I didn't. I actually when I first saw it because I'm on Letterboxd. I don't know if you know that website, but it's like a movie
Hmm.
website for like Facebook. It's like a Facebook for movies. And I liked the movie. I gave it a 4 star back when I first saw it. I downgraded it to like 3.5, but I liked it overall. I thought it was one of the better efforts since Endgame. I didn't, dislike it like other people. I think it's gotten a little worse for me over time. It hasn't aged well, but I did like it. I think that last act was kind of bad too, especially the special effects and the CGI and just the whole story and everything. Like it just became a CGI fest at the end of the movie. And so I didn't that part of it is why I downgraded it from a 4 to 3.5. But I thought, like you said, it's one of the better efforts along with Deadpool, Wolverine, uh, No Way Home. Um, that's probably it for like post Endgame MCU movies. So it's one of the top post Endgame MCU movies, but that's not saying a whole lot. So yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah.
That's good to know. Yeah, and now we go to now we should check out Fu Manchu, who was renamed after being brought back into the comics within the 2000s era. You I'm sure you know him pretty well for being played by Christopher Lee in the movies that came out back when he was younger in his time back in the 20th century. Him being a mad scientist and all. Not sure. Yeah,
I
who was
actually don't. I'm so this is new to me. So I did not know Christopher Lee played for me. I'm pretty sure that was but back then they had like actors, um, you know, playing characters of like Asian descent that weren't Asian. Um, I know like who am I trying to think of that also did something. I can't remember at the moment. But that's kind of interesting that he played Fu Manchu. So I didn't know that. This would be interesting to hear.
well,
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I kind of known about it for a while since I first saw it over the past couple of years or so that Christopher Lee was cast to play the role of a Chinese villain.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like Ming from Flash Gordon. Like, who was it? Was it Max von Sydow that played Ming in Flash
Yeah,
Gordon, the movie? Remember?
that was him. Yep, yeah, Fu Manchu and Ming the Merciless.
Yes, Ming the Merciless. Yeah.
Yeah, played by Swedish actor who's someone who looks Chinese, and that's also who Emperor Goodwin has his has had his profile picture done after.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
yeah,
Interesting.
the way they had him
Yeah,
portrayed,
yeah, yeah. That was.
someone who looks Asian being portrayed by a white guy.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, pretty interesting.
yeah, and uh, yeah, and that brings us to Christopher Lee, Scottish actor, looking like a Chinese guy.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Wow, I've never seen that before. That
yeah,
is, that's crazy.
yeah,
1965. Awesome. Okay. All
yep,
right. Did not know that.
yeah. I didn't think they would actually have the guts to actually incorporate someone like him from the theatric theoretic novels and stuff to
Yeah.
appear in Marvel.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm sure there's some. I can't. I'm trying to think of some other examples of that. I mean, I don't know if he would say. Who's another example of an actor that played like? Yeah, I mean, I guess you could, go to like different um, ethnic groups, like like um, what's her name for that played an alien? She played a Latina or Hispanic woman. What was her
No
name?
idea.
In Aliens, have you ever seen Aliens in the movie? Remember the movie Aliens? Have you ever seen that
Not sure.
with Sigourney Weaver? Oh man, you've never seen Aliens? I'd have thought that would have been right up your alley. But there's a character in there, um, the woman who got killed in the Terminator 2 movie, the woman that was playing the stepmom. Remember that? She played that character in Aliens.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
I'm trying to find her name. She was Vasquez. Her character was Vasquez in Aliens. Her real name is Janet Goldstein. She played the stepmom, the one that got killed uh, by Robert Patrick by the T-1000 in Terminator.
Interesting.
Remember that part in Terminator 2 when she got killed drinking the? I think was she drinking the milk or was that the dad?
I think that was the dad who was drinking the
That was the
milk.
dad. Yeah, but the mom, she played the mom. That was the person who played Vasquez, who was a Hispanic woman in Aliens. So that's like another
Mm-hmm.
example of somebody playing a white person playing another ethnic group
Yeah,
movie or TV role.
yeah. But also, Fu Manchu wasn't the only one that had to have his name changed to, well, you know what? Zhang Zhu.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, they had to switch his name from Fu Manchu to Zhang Zhu later on, as soon as they brought him back.
But okay. Interesting. Change. All right.
Yeah, they lost the rights to the. Yeah, they literally lost the rights to the name Fu Manchu, so they had to make a course correction.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. He was. Yeah. This guy was Shang-Chi's original arch foe.
Okay. Cool. I love the what do you call it, the animation of that. So that looked kind of cool. That one that you just had up. That was kind of cool. wonder why they didn't have him in the movie. Maybe they'll have him in the sequel if they ever have a sequel.
Welcome, Lord Shadow. Yep. Haven't had him on panel for months since January. Anyway, soon as time pressed on with more Shang-Chi comics being printed, you you do see that the character himself eventually adopted the Ten Rings weapons. Let me type it in. Okay. All right. Yeah. Since the movie, folks at Marvel decided to have Shang-Chi acquire the Ten Rings. Ah, Snape. Welcome. If you're available, here's the invite if you wish to join us.
Negative Snape,
Right.
how you doing? I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, I haven't had him on panel since November last year.
Yeah.
Anyway, these rings that Shang-Chi possesses are similar to the ones that were originally owned by his father in the movie known as the Mandarin, who was originally Iron Man's arch foe. And later, I haven't read the comics of how he got them, but since the movie, they decided to make the 10 rings a thing in the comics.
Yeah, we've been talking the character mostly. We did talk about the movie a little bit, but I think Sergeant wants to break down the characters in the comics and the TV shows that are related to the comic first.
Yeah, yeah, Snape can be a shy guy, but hey, he'll come around. Yeah, I know. Yeah, he seems to know plenty about Shang-Chi, and I'm kind of hoping he can join soon.
Does he really? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of, that reminds me, Snape, if you're there, if you're there, Snape.
I didn't know that either. What he just put in there. He said he remembers the character was a response to the kung fu craze of the 70s.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's good to know.
Yep.
Because I don't know anything, like I said, except for the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. In case he ever comes back. Now, yeah, these rings do make Shang-Chi look cooler and interesting.
I think
But they are.
Lord Shadow saying he can't hear me very well. So,
Oh,
are you able to hear me okay? Or
I'm
do I
sure he
sound
can.
too low?
Ah, don't worry. He can hear. Yes, just gotta just gotta adjust the volume.
Okay.
Anyway, let's continue. Yeah. Another.
I'm probably talking too low too, so that probably doesn't help either. But
Now here's another character who had to undergo a name change. I forgot her name. Oh, there we go. There's the character's name.
Okay. Who's it? Now, who is this? Shang Bao Yu?
Oh, Shang-Chi's evil sister.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that they tried to make her a girl boss in the movie, or do you think it was just right
Well,
balance?
kind of looked like it. Kind of looked like it, but yeah, with her overpowering Shang-Chi and knocking him out, yeah, pretty much, sort of.
Yeah, I thought so too. Yeah.
Yeah, but much like the movie, they did they had to find something. Yeah, this is who this is who the character that played. This is who the actress. This was the character that the sister of Shang-Chi from the movie was based off of. Follows C, going by Zheng Bao Yu,
Okay.
is kind of a sorceress as well as a wicked martial artist. Yeah, she was set from the comics. She is set. Yeah, those eyes kind of look creepy too.
Yeah,
Given the
they do.
Snape. Yeah, we got we got Negris back on.
Okay.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, the other thing I didn't like about the movie, which I'm pretty sure everybody hated, was Aquafina. I forgot to mention that. That didn't help either.
Yeah, some reason Negris seems.
Now the sister's name in the movie.
Look who's back.
Can you
Welcome
hear me?
back. Yeah, welcome back, Snape. It's been a long time since I had you.
Sorry, man. It's because I wanted to see if it works on my phone because I'm walking my dog
Oh,
because it's
no
hot
Hey,
problem.
here.
Yeah, it should work. I
hey
tried it
Snape, how
before.
you doing?
Hey, how's it going, man? Yeah,
Pretty good.
usually when you stream, that's usually the time I walk my dog because it's hot here in Texas. So I gotta
Oh,
wait. This is around the time that I wait so that she can be cool and so can I, man, because I get pretty hot.
Yeah. Yep.
That's what I was trying to tell you. From my understanding, because I've only read like modern stuff of Shang-Chi. I did used to have older issues, but I lost them. My understanding was he was supposed to be like a stand-in for Bruce Lee, like when Enter
Yeah.
the Dragon and Kung Fu with David Carradine. That's around the time that the character. I don't remember
yeah,
if he was created around then, but that's when he
Welcome,
got like
Fletcher.
really popular.
Welcome,
yeah.
Fletcher.
That's what I was gonna say. That's the other example I was gonna mention was David Carradine from Kung Fu is like the one
Yeah.
of the
Yeah, that's
Welcome.
what I remember because
yeah.
you had all those like Joe Kelly karate movies, and you had all that stuff that was blowing up. So that's that's when I remember because I used to have an omnibus
Right.
of like the old stuff from the '70s. That's what I remember, like the style of the comic was. But so I
Yeah. Well,
haven't read anything.
So how's it going?
Go go ahead.
created. He was created because of the success of the Kung Fu show, and they brought him up, and they actually, designed him based on Bruce Lee. And
Oh, so I was right. Yeah, see, that's what
yeah,
I remember.
you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
They saw the '70s Bruce Lee, popularity. They actually shopped it first to DC, but DC does not did not bite on it. So they shopped it to Marvel, and Marvel just added a caveat and said, "We will let you do this comic, but you got to add Fu Manchu." And that's how he became, because they had the rights to Fu Manchu at the time. Um,
Hmm.
and that's how the whole problematic phase of Shang-Chi kind of happened. That's why they wanted to cancel him now, because of the whole, what do they call it? The Asian panic or something, with
Yellow
the
Yeah,
Pearl.
yeah, yeah.
orientation of
Because
things.
Yeah, I think it was Yellow Pearl.
if
Yeah,
I
yeah,
remember
the yellow
correctly,
peril. Yes.
if I remember correctly, Shang Chi was also like like similar to what's that character called? The one that's always works with Luke Cage.
Oh, Iron
Uh,
Fist. He had he
yeah,
had
yeah. Like
problems
they
with
would
Iron
start
Fist.
off like in the he would be featured, and then they would give him his like own solo series, and then they would cancel it and start
Right.
another one. And
Yes.
yeah, I remember that.
The only difference between Iron Fist and Shang-Chi is that Shang-Chi doesn't have superpowers. That was his thing. That he was an unsuperpower. He was a kind of like Batman like that in the Marvel universe because he
Yeah.
didn't have superpowers, but his technique was so devastating that he could go after superheroes, so that was kind of like their spiel on it back in the day.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been in anything modern, right? Because the
They
last
did
time I
have a
remember,
run,
yeah, I know that run, but
right?
before that run, the last time I remember seeing them was during Avengers versus X-Men, like in the background, and that was like years ago. That was like in
Yeah.
2012 or 11.
Yeah, I think he had most of the thing. He had those comic appearances like in the '80s and stuff like that. But he was back mostly like like early '70s, early '80s Marvel, where he had more like the um, special edition ones and stuff like that. And most of the new stuff, like the stuff that's happening like now is they changed that he was the son of Fu Manchu. They changed it into a Chinese father, and they also they gave him the sister and the brother and stuff like that, and that that kind of background thing like they used in the movie.
Yeah. Speaking of brother, yeah, I'm sure you were referring to this guy. The moving shadow.
Yes, that's a reason, brother.
Yeah. The Shang-Chi foe. Yeah. Quite a quite a deadly rival to the guy for Shang-Chi to fight. You also gotta wonder that there were Shang-Chi had a lot of kung fu enemies to fight that were under Fu Manchu's. Ah,
Right.
ah, welcome, King.
Did you guys like the movie?
Hey,
I enjoyed
I
it.
like it. Welcome, King.
Because I thought it was
Yeah.
pretty cool. I
welcome.
mean,
Yeah.
I know people dunk on it, but I mean, I don't expect much from post Endgame MCU anyway. So
Yeah,
I thought it
I
was cool
like
for what it was.
I like the movie. I told Sergeant uh, I originally gave it like 4 out of 5, but I kind of downgraded it to 3.5 out of 5 since I've watched it again, just because of that last part with the CGI. I thought that was kind of bad, and then Aquafina kind of
Oh
messed it up
yeah,
for me too. So
Uh,
I kind of downgraded it to
honestly,
three.
I mean, honestly, I like it because I think that's like the last MCU movie I saw at the movies. I haven't seen anyone since. Well, I didn't see like Eternals or whatever. I skipped that one, but I remember getting out of work and going to see that one, and I think that's like the last one I've ever been to. I haven't been to any other MCU
Uh,
movie since Shang-Chi, so I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. And that actor, the one that plays his dad,
yes,
yeah.
that guy, that guy's
Tony
awesome.
Tony Lang, or how do you pronounce his name?
Tony Lung, the
Tony
Mandarin.
Long. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yeah. He
he
was
was the
really good.
Mandarin in the
Yeah,
He
movie.
he's
was
a great actor.
he was awesome. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so for what they had, I mean, I thought it was pretty cool, and it was pretty cool to bring back um what's that
Kingsley.
guy name? Trevor. Yeah, I know
Yeah,
people hate Iron Man 3 as
Trevor.
well, but
yeah. But this movie kind of redeems Trevor Slattery in not just clear him of backlash, but also it helps improve the character from being a drunken to being a much more a well-aware human being.
Yeah, and he's gonna come back in the what do you call it? The Wonder Man.
Wonder Man. Yep.
Yes, he's gonna be in Wonder Man.
oh yeah, the less said about that, the better, man. Because I'm a
Yeah,
huge Wonder Man fan from the comics,
Yeah,
from like
it's
the
not.
'90s,
Yeah,
and he was
not
in
your
the
daddy's
Avengers. And
Wonder Man. That's for sure. It's you you are really having a completely different Iron Man. I mean Wonder Man. Uh,
yeah, and I like that actor. I mean, that actor's cool.
oh, the actor's
No
good.
hate on
Yeah,
that actor, but it's just Like, I look something that nobody mentions real quick, just to veer off. I can't remember in what movie it was, but before and a lot of people don't talk about it, they don't notice it. Before James Gunn left the MCU, they actually had a Wonder Man in the MCU. It was that guy. I don't like that guy. That guy from Firefly. So
Okay.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't know if there's a series or it's either in a series or in a movie where you see posters of him in the background because you know how Simon Williams used to be an actor. Uh, so
oh,
you'll see like pictures where it has his name and stuff, and it's Nathan Fillion. But I guess once Gunn left the MCU, they scrapped all that. I can't remember exactly where it was, but I'm pretty sure if you search the internet, you could probably find it. That would have been cool, but
yeah.
I mean, obviously they had to change the whole direction once this guy left because he's probably the one that did that.
Mm.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure they're not going to feature his brother, the Grim Reaper, and all that cool stuff from the comics. I'm pretty
Yeah, I
sure they're
think
going to do
they're
something
going a
like.
completely different route. I thought for a second that they were going to do West Coast Avengers. You know, we had an Eternal.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
You had the Black Knight coming in, and you were thinking, oh, okay, maybe we get Tigra, maybe
Yeah, with White Vision and stuff.
yeah,
But
White
then
Vision is
again,
already coming up. So
Yeah.
I think they probably scrapped that also because remember, I don't know if y'all saw that Jeremy Renner is pretty much like Scarlet Witch that he's not coming back at all,
mhm.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
which sucks because yeah, Jeremy Renner was cool, but
They didn't want to pay him.
yeah,
You know? Well, they already replaced him though with Haley Stanfield anyway. So I think if you remember at the end of uh, Marvels, they had that Iman Balani, Miss Marvel went up to try to recruit Kate Bishop. So that's what I was
I
talking. How
never,
they're gonna do Young Avengers or they're gonna do West Coast Avengers?
yeah, I never saw the Marvel. I never saw any of the movies past.
I don't blame you.
I think
Yeah,
yeah,
I
Chang
don't
Chi was
blame
the only
you
one that
either.
I saw.
Yeah,
Marvelous was awful.
Yeah. Oh, geez.
I mean,
Yeah.
and I'm like a purist. I'm like a comic purist. So when they like deviate hardcore, like with Moon Knight, I absolutely love Moon Knight. That show was straight garbage, man.
oh my gosh, that I was so mad. I was so Moon Knight is one of my favorites too, and I was so mad. I was so mad. That show, it was so dogged.
Yeah, and I'm not like Gary. You know, neurotic. He really hates the modern run, like where he's crazy and stuff.
Yeah.
That's the run that I like better. I like that better than the '90s stuff.
Oh, so
But
you like
yeah, they totally were.
that whole like kind of I don't know. He's very
Yeah,
the
it's
Mister
the
Knight type deal.
yeah, it's the Jeff Lemire run where like there's a lot of like silent issues, like no dialogue and stuff,
Yeah,
and that's the stuff that I like. And they
he's
didn't
playing
even try
more
to
into
do
the
that with the show.
psychosis part and stuff.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
even the '90s run, man. I have some of the '90s comics. Even that run is far superior to anything they did in the show.
I just don't know why they went that route because you can understand. Okay, we're gonna look at it from a cosmic point of view, and I can understand that. But that doesn't even like show up in the actual movies of Marvel, so it doesn't make sense. They should have kept him street level, and then he could have been in Daredevil or Spider Man or something. It just I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's true.
What was getting back to Shang-Chi? Was he announced as part of Doomsday or no? He's not
Yes,
one of the one.
he's part of Doomsday. He's actually they got Seymour Liu actually in pictures and backgrounds already leaked.
Yeah.
Oh,
Plus, he
okay,
was
okay,
one of
cool,
the
cool.
chairs. So, and they're talking about Shang-Chi too. So, who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah, see, the thing with the movie, the thing with the Shang-Chi movie is that I'm not like the typical people we see here on YouTube. Like, I don't expect this stuff to be like Oscar-worthy stuff, man. It's just pure entertainment. I mean, that's what they're going for,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah. I didn't like I
That's
said.
why people end up hating. That's why people end up hating these most of these series and movies because they all expect it to be
Perfect.
like high quality stuff. Like the whole fiddle faddle thing with with Daredevil.
Oh, that.
All the reviews that I saw, like people were talking that it was so bad and that episode is trash. I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, I didn't think it was good either, but it wasn't as bad as people were saying that it was.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's like the Interflex. You're always going to have people that disagree or passionate about it. I mean, I have friends who loved it. I have friends who hated it. But the same thing with Shang-Chi. Me and my family went to see Shang-Chi. We found it amusing. We had a good time. Is it comic accurate? Heck no. There's like hardly nothing in the comic about it.
Yeah. And speaking
But
of,
you kind of overlook it. You know.
yeah,
Then you also have things like Superman, which had so many weird things from the comic that I found problematic that kind of ruined the movie for me. So, I mean, it's a double-edged sword. You can be like a big nerd about it, or like you said, by Moon Knight. It messed up Moon Knight for me the same way it messed up for you. It's like, what are you guys doing?
yeah. Speaking of double-edged sword, here's
Okay, hey guys,
here's
I
the
don't know
next
if you can
villain.
hear me. I'm gonna drop out for a little bit, then I'll be right back. 'Cause I just got back in my car.
Oh, thank you. Well,
Yeah.
feel
I
free
don't
to
know how
hop
to
back.
do it though, but I'll figure it out.
All right. And speaking of double-edged sword, here is Razor Fist. You know the guy the Romanian that Shang-Chi fought on the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that fight scene was on the bus was pretty cool. Seeing him, Simu going head to head with Florian from the Creed 2 movie. Yeah, the main difference with Razor Fist in the movie is that he only has he only has one arm with a sword, with a cybernetic sword on it. In the
Right.
comics, the character had two, which is kind of impossible to imagine how this guy from the comics could actually hold stuff up with two blades and no arm and
It's
no hands.
creatively, very creatively.
Yeah, indeed, very creatively. No, yeah, there was no way they were gonna. Yeah, there was simply no way they were gonna manage him in the movie with two bladed arms. So they needed to just have him wield one cybernetic prosthetic blade on one arm while making sure he still has one hand to hold stuff with, which I find pretty okay because you can never go wrong with you can never go wrong with one, but with two, yeah, don't see how that could happen. Man, yeah,
And I
he was.
think in the comic, it's not it's kind of like a blade. It was a sharp blade, but it wasn't necessarily a. In this one, it has some kind of like force field around it, didn't it?
Yeah, there was supposed to be a force field around it. Yeah, he was. Razor Fist was introduced as early into the comics as Shang-Chi was back in the 70s. He was one of, much like being one of the Mandarins, he was one of Fu Manchu's henchmen. Yeah, seeing him get, yeah, the way that Shang-Chi had to deal with someone like Razor Fist, yike, quite dangerous, really dangerous. Lucky for Shang, he does have allies, and one of them goes by the name Blackjack Tarr. You know, MI6 officer. And, yeah, Blackjack Tarr is an MI6 officer in the comics when he was introduced as one of Shang-Chi's allies. Kind of cocky fella over there who was helping work with Shang against his to take on his evil father known as Fu Manchu
Yep.
back then.
Yeah, because he was the one who kind of like a James Bond type of character, and
Yeah,
he actually brought Shang-Chi to realize that Fu Manchu's father was actually like an evil organization, right? And all this time, he thought his father, Fu Manchu, was like on the up and up, but he's the one that kind of let him see, hey, no, your dad's a master criminal. Let's fight him together. So
yeah, yep, that's true.
what a
Yeah,
cool panel.
thank you. I yeah, I got that thing I got my wallpaper installed with the help of the core plan.
Nice.
And yeah, Shang-Chi definitely crossed paths with Fu Manchu time and time back in the throughout the 10-year period of the from 73 to 83. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And back then he had plenty of allies. The other guy,
Yes, it's funny that you see Simo Lu did not want to autograph one of the old school Shang-Chi, you know,
oh, you mean
comics.
the, oh yeah,
He didn't. What was his reason?
Yeah, it was in a
Well-
comic convention, and he didn't want to sign it. He made the person go back and buy a new Shang-Chi comic
What?
oh wow,
because
my
he said it was
God.
racist.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I remember that. Yeah. I
Right?
remember
You guys remember that?
Yeah.
I haven't noticed that
It's almost
until
all
now.
just as bad as the
Uh,
Boba comics.
Oh my goodness
Oh
gracious!
man. Yeah, that's great.
Wow, wow,
Man.
yeah. Well, on the right, Shang-Chi was definitely aligned with the MI6 fighting against Fu Manchu's organization at the time. Another notable ally of his is a guy called Clive Reston, who was also MI6. And there's another one who I believe was one of Shang-Chi's love interests was known as Leiko Wu.
Mm.
Ah, and she's still there with him. Shame they didn't introduce her in the movie and had someone beautiful and less annoying for this chick. I mean,
You
yeah.
mean you didn't like Aquafina?
Well, she
Marvel's
was.
Katie.
Hell no.
Welcome back, King.
Remember the squad? Remember
Yeah,
the squad?
Aquafina's
Yes.
annoying.
Yes. Very.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and if
You
check
know,
my-
she reminds me of. She reminds me of Whoopi Goldberg,
Oh,
but she's like
one.
the modern
That's a
Whoopi
good one.
Goldberg.
Yeah.
She's good in good dosages, but only to her element. And when she goes outside of that, she just makes it worse.
Yeah.
Well,
She
I don't
kills
know.
anything
I
exciting.
think at least Whoopi.
I'm gonna fight back on that
actor.
one because Whoopi Goldberg is an amazing actress. If you watch all her
she's a
old
good
stuff,
actor.
No, she
I
is
mean,
certain
all
movies,
her acting,
but
she's
Yeah.
impeccable.
Yeah.
She's
but
she's
in the later
wacky.
years,
Yes, in the
She's
later
wacky,
years, she
but
became annoying.
that's all
Yes,
celebrities, right?
Yeah.
yeah, but like
But she's a good
depending on the
actor. Whoopi's a good
movie,
actor.
she could kill it because if she's out of her element, like Robert De Niro in the Ben Stiller movies, The Family, he was insufferable in that. He was trying to be funny,
yeah,
but he was insufferable.
yeah, that's
Stick
true.
to being a gangster, Robert.
Yeah, yeah,
She
yeah.
was a
Like,
sidekick. Aquafina was just an annoying sidekick. Why?
She was
You
playing
couldn't get
herself.
a more attractive Asian actress?
yeah,
Well, they got it for comic relief. You know, the same way they got
The Rock.
the kid from the one kid, the comedian that was a Filipino in Spider-Man.
oh,
Yes.
yeah. Jacob Bolton.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, Leiko Wu. Yeah, it's a shame of what Hollywood's become. I mean, we could have also had someone more attractive than Aquafina for the female lead, and as Leiko Wu, if this was also filmed in Britain as well, not just in China or San Francisco, or even in the world of Tala, which was introduced in the Thor comic. I mean, wow. And a
Because for me, it doesn't matter what Asian race you are. Like, if you could play the part, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't have to be 100% authentic, quote unquote, right? You can have a Korean actress, one of those K-drama actresses, if she knows, some English and some, Cantonese or Mandarin, go for it.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
you can
I mean,
do that.
It depends because it does get hit back. especially in Asian countries. I mean, if we have like a Filipino in a Korean show or Japanese show or Chinese show, it's gonna get heck.
Oh, I
Yeah.
agree,
It's
dude.
really
I
gonna.
agree.
Yeah.
Fletcher, I agree. The problem is though, remember Rumble in the Bronx, right?
Yeah.
Remember the lady, the actress, that the love interest for Jackie Chan. She's half French Canadian and Chinese. She's
Oh
not
yeah.
full Asian, and that was backlash back
yeah.
then. They didn't like that. They didn't
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, you got a foreigner Asian woman playing the lead actress in your movie, Jackie? No.
I
They still
think that
did it.
one, but I think those are getting a little bit of pushback. You can see, like, I mean, right now, one of the top bands in the world is like Blackpink, right? And like half the girls are mixed, you know.
Yep.
And
So
I don't have a problem with that. If they can do the job, then more power to them. But
right.
if they can't do it, then no, get somebody that can.
I mean, Simo Liu got a little bit of pushback because he's Canadian, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
and not only that, they said
Yes.
he was too ugly to play Shang-Chi. That's
Well,
what they said.
he's not. One thing of Shang-Chi, he was supposed to be like debonair. He was supposed to be more like Bruce Lee, and we
Well-
can all agree that Simo Liu does not look like Bruce Lee.
Couldn't they get Danny Chan? You know the actor who played Bruce
Yeah,
in
Dragon.
that Chinese drama and in Ip Man movies? They
Yeah.
couldn't get him to play the part, even though he's a little older. You could put makeup on him, and who cares, right? He looks like Bruce Lee. You could literally hire him,
Well, King, I guess,
dub him in English if he can't speak the language properly. Just dub him in English like we all do.
I think
with
a
kung fu
Shang-Chi
movies.
dub would have been epic.
Yeah,
no.
definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
you
then
get
the
John
Chinese
Woo
can get
to
what they
direct
want.
it.
No.
Yeah.
I hate dubs.
Yeah, but it would
Yeah.
make
Like,
sense
dubs,
though.
dubs,
It
dubs.
would be authentic. It would be
Yeah,
authentic.
I see.
They
I
and
see.
China would be more. China and Hong Kong would be more accepting towards it
Yeah, it would have made way
because
more
they
than
could say,
200
"See,
million.
this is our own."
Definitely.
They'd be like, "See, this is actual Chinese actors portraying the characters, not
Yeah,
like."
and the United
half
States is
and
a lot more
whatever.
accepted. I mean, look at Parasite winning Best Picture. That's a full
Yeah.
Korean picture. So I think it would have been a lot.
Yeah.
I think that Marvel should start thinking outside the box.
Yeah,
If
you might
Shang-Chi
have a
would have
point
been
there.
done like full Chinese, go full Chinese with it,
You might
and
have
same
a
it
thing
would
with
have
the
been a lot
X-Men.
different.
The same thing with the Wolverine X-Men tie-in with Japan.
Yeah.
If you wanted to do a series, a TV show, or a movie that takes place only in Japan, you can get Japanese actors
Yep.
involved. Go for it.
Yeah, look at
Yeah.
Shogun.
Yes.
Wins
Shogun,
all the
that's a
awards,
perfect
all the
example.
drama is mostly in Japanese.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can
Definitely.
either dub it in English or you can have them do the movie both in English and in Japanese, kind of like Rumble in the Bronx did,
Yeah.
where they did multiple languages and then they dubbed it in post just so it's not incoherent
Yeah.
with the storylines
Yeah,
in
there's a-
other countries.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I
there's a
agree.
lot of. Yeah, there's a lot of movies like that. RRR, The Raid.
Oh yeah, look at
those
RRR.
movies.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I feel like they're missing out. I mean, you could have had all kinds of weird stuff. Eternals. If you would have had Eternals and give it to a Bollywood director and just make the whole thing a musical, it would have made $1 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would have been better than the Joker too.
Oh my gosh,
Imagine
Death
Indian
Dealer was
Joker.
that was criminal. What they
Yeah,
did
I
to
know.
Death Dealer and Shang-Chi. I'm with you, bro. I see what you're doing. Yes.
That was
Yeah.
bad.
Shang-Chi. Yeah.
Death Dealer, that was criminal. That was criminal. I was like, even like the scene with Death Dealer, I was like, are you kidding me? I did like the
Oh, yeah.
mask though. The mask is kind of cool. I'm not gonna
Also,
lie.
Donnie Yen-
I did like the mask.
Donnie Yen, I'm sorry if I interrupted. Donnie Yen should have been involved in Shang-Chi.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
don't know why. I mean, dude, he's willing to do American films for the right
He would've
price,
been-
aka
He would have been perfect.
I get to be a star in a foreign film and in my home countries in Hong Kong
Yep.
and China.
Yeah.
That's all he wants. That's really all he wants.
Yep. He
And
got
if
it
you
with
give
John
that to
Wick,
him, he's
though.
going to do more projects. Look at John Wick. He's going to do a
he ended up-
spin-off
he
movie
got-
with
yeah,
Kane.
Yeah, he got it with John Wick. Yeah, so, yeah, and a little bit with Rogue.
Yeah, he also did
Rogue One.
Triple X3.
Triple X3. Yeah,
That was supposed to be Jet Li's role, but because of his undisclosed illness that he doesn't want to talk about, they had to give it to Donnie Yen instead.
Donnie Yen. Yeah.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah, and maybe Donnie Yen could have also pulled off Death Dealer too, but I'm sure if he's looking to eye a role for Shang-Chi sequel, Iron Nail, who knows, maybe a villain or suitable for his age range would fit.
Hey,
As for Death Dealer,
Hey, Sergeant,
was-
I wanted to tell King something that's going to make him mad.
What's that?
King,
Go for it.
Awkwafina, she was the first person cast for this film.
You fucking kidding me?
No, I'm not. I just read it. She was the first actor cast for this movie.
Interesting.
What did they do? They played a game of fucking darts, and whoever Asian actor or actress was hit, they get to be casted first. Is that how they did it?
I don't know. That's what I'm reading.
Maybe-
She was the first actor cast.
I think it was mostly also because she was like the hot thing for a bit, and they wanted to include some comedic elements to it, like most Marvel current things. So I think that's why they probably picked her first, because they figure they could probably get more money funding by, trying to, because wasn't she coming out of Crazy Rich Asians,
Yes. Yeah, she was.
Yeah,
So
but
that movie was like, it was gangbusters worldwide. They
I knew
sold
it was
that.
gonna make King
yeah,
mad.
but
I
the
knew it was
problem
gonna
with
make
that is, I would rather have Aquafina be in a poor parody, not adult parody, but an actual parody making fun of the Power Rangers, of her being the Yellow Ranger getting her ass beat because she doesn't know how to use her fucking powers, than being any superhero or anything like that movie.
Yeah,
No.
they could have done that for
Put
the
her in a parody of the Power Rangers where she gets her ass beat, kind of like Scary Movie or Epic Movie or those types of films where they make fun of things. Put her in that; she'd be great. And then in the end of the movie, she actually gets to kick ass because you have to wrap it up like that.
It's like a new anime. It's about like Power Rangers, but it's from the viewpoint of the villains. I forgot what it's called, but maybe something like that is like a dark Power Rangers. I think it's Go Ranger or something.
Are you talking about the one where the red Power Ranger ends up in like a foreign land, like he ends up in another?
No,
universe or
that one's
something?
great. That one's great. That's a comedy.
Oh.
This one has more of like a dark element where the Power Rangers are basically forcing the henchmen to like suffer defeat like every week or something, and it's told from the viewpoint of the Loser Ranger. There you go. Thank you, Lord Shadow. Thank you. Yeah. So it's Go Loser Ranger, and it's told from the viewpoint of the villains that always get beat up by the Power Rangers, and the Power Rangers are evil. So it's a way different take. Check it out. So I thought it'd be interesting to see Aquafina as a villain in that, because that'll be interesting.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea, honestly, because she's not like. She's good at what, like I said, with the Whoopi Goldberg analogy, right? Like, sure, Whoopi had some good films, but there were certain films where she was insufferable, especially in her later years. And Aquafina has that same effect. Just because you put her in a whole bunch of films and TV shows, that doesn't make her good.
What?
And yes,
she's a man. What are you talking about? Did you even see The Little Mermaid? Did you hear that awesome rendition of Remember the Squad? Remember the Squad? And the dad.
Oh yeah, that.
You hear that chilling rendition? It makes you cry.
Oh my God! Yeah, it makes me cry. My ears bleeding out. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Shame on you, Aquafina all day.
Yeah.
I'm shocked she didn't play all the characters in Shang-Chi.
Dude, if they wanted to spend the money and they wanted to kill the franchise, they absolutely could have done that. Disney has the money from whatever funds they can get from their shareholders and their DEI hires. They absolutely can. Fuck
I
it.
don't care
Hey,
what you're
hey,
saying. I want a Marvel's Katie spin-off TV show. I think it's going to make billions. Marvel, call your agent.
Let me know
believe
if the there's too much background noise on my end.
Oh, no worries. Anyway, we were just going over Death Dealer. You know, who was a villain from the Shang-Chi comics who fought him one time only, but then ended up killed after his defeat by Shang-Chi. Yeah, he unlike the movies had an actual name.
Yeah,
His real
he
name
looked pretty
is
cool in the comic. I mean, in the movie, I thought it looked pretty cool.
It looked
yeah
cool, yeah, but it was so unsung. You
Yeah, it
know?
was
Yeah, like
great.
so throwaway. Yeah.
Yes.
yeah, that's true. But hey, I've seen him on set with the other Ten Rings ninjas who were working for the Mandarin in the Legend of the Ten Rings movie.
You know
Yeah,
what would have been
What
cool in
you
the
know? It's
movie?
weird about the Mandarin. Oh,
yeah.
go ahead. Sorry.
It would have been cool if we had like a nod to that one guy from the first movie.
What
Because
movie?
remember, he had one of the 10 rings.
Oh, Reza. You're talking.
Uh, I don't remember. It's that guy that Jeff Bridges ends up betraying in the
Yeah, that
first
was.
Iron Man.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
Reza.
It would have been cool if they would have had a nod to him. Because I mean, obviously they did a nod to Guy Pearce's terrible Iron Man 3 character. But
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's where it all
Actually, I
started.
like the Guy Pearce villain.
It's
He wasn't the Mandarin.
well, see, I'll
Yeah.
say this because I always say the same thing about Thor Ragnarok. Because it's the same thing with Iron Man 3. For Thor Ragnarok, I always say it's a cool movie. It's just not a cool Thor movie.
Yes.
Right.
And we got teased Beta Rail Bill, and you guys didn't do anything. You suck, Marvel.
Yeah, I
Because like,
know.
cause like with Iron Man 3,
and you and you
I'm
had
a
World Breaker
child
Hulk in
of the
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a child of the 80s and 90s, so it was a good throwback to all the buddy cop movies and all the Shane Black stuff. So I like it for that, but the whole thing they did with the Mandarin was that was
That was it. Well, we still haven't got a good Mandarin.
Right, I
You
know.
know, I mean, this 10 ring
Why did
thing
they
that they
retcon
did.
that? Why did they retcon the Mandarin like 3 times? They did it in Iron Man twice, and then
Yeah,
the third time in
We
Shang-Chi.
have an Agatha All Along TV show.
you're right. Well,
Yeah.
actually, it might have been even more than 3 times because remember when Marvel used to do the those little mini movies? They did a
Oh
whole mini
yeah,
movie
like the
with
Marvels,
or one
Agents of
shot.
Shield thing.
yeah, they
Remember?
did
Yeah,
one where
yeah, but
Trevor's in jail and stuff.
Yeah.
does the yeah, but is
Yeah,
that canon though? Because some of those things may or may not be canon depending on what Disney or Marvel Studio says.
I
Because they
have
pick
no
and
idea.
choose what is and what's not, which is
Yeah,
Because
but
I was
they
stupid.
can't even
But
follow it
you know,
themselves. I
yeah,
mean,
because I was
they
gonna
can't
I
because the
was
TV
gonna
shows they said it's canon, but then they say no, it doesn't affect this movie, even though they introduce characters from the movie into the TV shows and the
yeah, because
streaming
I was gonna
shows.
mention that Shang-Chi is the perfect example of how they never followed up those end credit scenes. Like
oh
they
Oh
yeah,
just
yeah.
complete they just completely threw that to the side.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I
they're
know.
never gonna do a Shang-Chi 2 unless
well,
it's a
no,
streaming
supposedly it's
service.
in the work.
It's
Supposedly it's
gonna
in the
probably
work with
be
Doomsday.
then it's probably gonna be a Disney Plus exclusive because
I don't know.
that's the
They
only
should.
way
I
that I
mean,
could see that.
they should do it that way because they know they're not gonna make their money back. Period.
It's gonna be like the Snyder cut for Justice League. They're not gonna do a sequel just to lose money again. They're not gonna do that.
Well, their
Yeah,
main
I know.
problem is that Shang-Chi is a kung fu. It should be a kung fu movie,
It
right? It
should.
should be
Yeah.
Enter the Dragon. It should be stuff like that.
It should
You
be Game of
basically
Death.
you have all the things. If they could do a what do you call the Warrior TV show, right? You can do a Shang-Chi TV show just the same, just with the same budget. You know, it's. I mean, he was in the comic. He was like a James Bond type of deal. You know, it's like a cross between James Bond and Bruce Lee.
Yeah, I
Hey,
know.
Fletcher's right, because if they were able to do 2 seasons of Iron Fist, they can do something for Shang-Chi, man.
Right. It's cheaper. Shang-Chi doesn't have superpowers.
Exactly.
Well,
So they
yeah,
give him
that's it. They don't
fantastic-
have to give him superpowers. Period. It could literally just be a kung fu TV show, like you said, Fletcher.
Yeah.
Period. Like that way, you save money. All you have to do, the only thing that's going to cost is the costumes and the scenery. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. And the stuntmen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
'cause
can have a
Because-
little
even if-
CGI with some of its villains, but
Yeah, yeah,
Shang-Chi as a
even
comic
if-
book hero has no superpowers. He has
Even
none.
if they were to
His
use the
superpowers
10
is
rings in the
style.
show, it's not a lot of money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the 10 ring is like an added. I would take the 10 rings away. I think he would. I
just
want
get
to
rid of
see
it.
an awesome kung fu. I mean, where's that? Plus, and even in the movie, he was doing mostly Tai Chi, and I'm like, dude,
See,
that's
you
not kung
just
fu.
wrote it. You just wrote it better than they could. I mean, you just take away the 10 rings, and he goes on a journey like the show Kung Fu to
And
Right,
build up
like he
his
better
says,
yet-
I'm not worthy of the rings. Let me just try my true power, And he goes dismantling his sister's, kung fu. I don't know, graffiti artist that were like the skateboard graffiti artist, kung fuist. I mean, what the heck was that? Is that like an amalgamation
Yeah.
of all bad, like things? They had kung fu. They had training evil kung fu in the lair that had graffiti and skateboarding and like satellite dishes. It's like there's like a mix between like Cobra Commander and Fu Manchu and like I don't know the Garbage Pail Kids. Who knows what that was?
You want to bet
Yeah.
that some of the writers that worked on Snake Eyes came on board for
Oh
this
my
because
gosh.
it failed?
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. Maybe this was a partial sequel that it got scrapped due to the poor theatrical reception. That they said,
Yeah, it
"Fuck it,
could
we're
be.
gonna go to Disney, just retool this storyline for Snake Eyes, and
I
just give it to
can't.
Shang-Chi and add more shit later."
Yeah.
They do that all the time in movies.
That's Snake Eyes. That's criminal, bro.
Yeah.
But look at how awesome this
Like
cover is.
like originally.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah, I mean, just look at it. Jumps off. You kind of want that. I mean, we never got even a hint of the original costume. They cut his hair. That was the thing that separated Shang-Chi from, from Bruce Lee suing, right? Was that
Yes.
he had long hair and he had a little bandana.
Ah,
So
Yeah,
Welcome
he looked
back,
like
Lord
Ricky
Shadow.
He looked like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, the wrestler,
Yes,
the pro wrestler.
definitely.
Before Liu Kang existed, that's what he looked like.
yep.
Because Liu Kang did not exist before that.
Welcome back, Lord Shadow.
Yeah, see,
Hey,
these are
how's
the
it
comics
going?
that I was talking about. These are the stuff that I have, because this is all similar to Daredevil from the 70s, Iron
Yeah.
Fist. I love all that cool stuff, man.
Yeah. I mean, you're basically going around. He's just going around the world, solving crimes and stuff with evil societies. I mean, it's so easy to write. But this, I mean, we were talking, I was in another show earlier, and we were talking about how stupid Marvel is right now. Because you got Kevin Feige saying that, well, we didn't want to put Blade in a leather trench coat killing vampires. It's like, dude, are you serious? That's literally what we want from Blade. It was the same thing with Shang-Chi. We just want him doing martial arts and cool stuff. That's all we want. You don't have to
Yeah.
add anything.
Oh, yeah.
We don't
Oh, yeah,
need no
speaking of-
magical dragons.
Well, the other big thing
Speaking
too
of-
is. Go ahead.
Hello, Sean Franklin.
Oh, speaking of Blade, I'm sorry if I cut you off, Lord Shadow. Sinners, right? Apparently, that movie was scrap. That was from a scrap Blade script / the costumes that was not produced. They just took
Yes.
that stuff that was going to be in a flashback from the 1930s or 40s, and they just said, "Fuck it, we could just make a new movie off of this," and there you go. Sinners was born. So they
Yeah,
have
so-
a
so
history
they
of
lied.
doing that, of retooling stuff for movies and what have you. Go ahead, Lord
Yeah.
Shadow. My bad.
Oh, can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah, we can
your
hear you.
Oh, yeah, we can
smooth
hear you.
velveteen voice.
Okay. So what I was going to say is kind of going back to what Snape said earlier with Shang-Chi, the kung fu craze of the 70s was a massive boom for that culture in the US because they brought so much of it over. I mean, even the stuff that didn't come this way, like with Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan, uh, I mean, the old Hong Kong wire flicks even were hugely popular. And in the comic books, it was mostly all martial arts driven. There was some supernatural elements, of course, but they didn't really bring any of that into the film adaptation that they did.
Yeah.
They just made it all focusing on the supernatural, and like I mentioned in the comments, the whole thing with they had Ben Kingsley as the Mandarin, and it was terrible. Such a waste of an amazing actor. If you guys
Yeah,
have
I
ever
know.
watched any of the other films that Ben Kingsley's been in, I mean, that man can act.
And a waste of the original
He could have been
character's name.
Galactus if they wanted to. They could have made
Yeah.
him Galactus.
Oh, he
Yeah,
would have been
that's true.
fantastic in that
Fantastic
as
Four.
that.
And have him a booming voice.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he would have had a
He
booming
does have
voice,
a
being
really good
basically
voice.
God.
Yeah.
He would have been. So
Or have
instead,
him
you
as
ruined
the
him on a joke
original-
character that was nothing.
Have him be the actual Mandarin.
What was that,
Give
Fletcher?
him
Yeah,
the
that too.
supernatural rings.
Yeah, he definitely had the qualities.
Would
to
you
fit
make
the
him
actual
Chinese
Mandarin.
looking? Would you give him the Asian eyes and paint his skin like he did for Gandhi?
I would.
Because that's what.
Hey, well.
I would go full
too.
like yeah. Why
Yeah,
not?
me too.
Go all in.
Oh God. All
To be
right,
fair,
all the
aren't-
Asian groups are going to be writing letters
Oh, yeah.
of what the fuck.
I would have him actually like do the whole dialogue in Chinese. That'd be great. I would have.
Yeah.
To be
Actually,
fair,
Reads
aren't
it
Indians
phonetically.
That would be
considered
pretty cool to
Yes.
have him do it in Chinese with just subtitles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be
Emily
great.
Kruger's right.
That'd be great. Like go full Tropic Thunder, or Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, and Emily Kruger's got a good point. The trailer
That would be
for it-
funny, but Disney would never have
Go ahead.
cut out.
the balls to do though. They're too scared.
Yeah, I know.
Well, what we were saying earlier was that they should have gone for Shang-Chi. I would have given it to a Hong Kong director and have the whole movie in Cantonese and just have subtitles. I think it would have rocked. It would have been made for a whole less money, and it would have probably made $1 billion worldwide.
Well,
Hey,
the downside to that is if they had done it that way, which don't get me wrong, for myself, I think that would have been awesome. But you also have to understand that, especially now, modern, film goers, even the Marvel crowd, that they go just because it's popular at the time. They know nothing about the characters. Those people don't read subtitles. They don't watch anime in Japanese. They only watch it once it comes out in an English dub. So assuming that they're going to be paying customers for something that's subtitled in a different language is honestly kind of a pipe dream. As cool as it would be, because it would be a little more accurate, I don't think that would ever happen. I mean, that would be directly signing up for losing a ton of money.
I
Yeah, they
disagree.
need Disney
you
wants
have,
more money.
You have movies like RRR, Parasite. You have TV shows. So right now, the most popular format of TV is Korean dramas all over the world.
Yeah, the Korean stuff.
I guarantee you, you make a Shang-Chi like it, and just have it dub and don't spend $200 million on it.
Right.
It'll make bank.
Godzilla minus one.
Godzilla minus one. Thank you very
Oh,
much.
Yeah,
Godzilla
do the,
minus
do
one
the
looks
cheapest
amazing.
one without being super cheap. You know what I mean? Like it has to
Yes.
be balanced enough
Yeah.
where it's like it's not
Correct.
super shoestring budget, but it ain't super expensive.
Right. Hit that sweet spot with it like they used to do back in the day.
Yeah, they can't
Yeah.
do that no more though. Why is that?
Well,
What
the
do you
problem
think?
now is they shoehorn so much CGI stuff into it that, I mean, they don't build backgrounds even like they used to. I mean, think about it this way. at the time of Ghostbusters, original Ghostbusters release, they built literally the largest sound stage that had ever been built before. It was like literally 30 feet tall, right? But they built it and it looked amazing. They don't build sound stages anymore. Now everything is just those, I forget what it's called, but it's essentially just a giant green screen thing.
You call it
the volume.
The volume.
The volume. Yeah.
Hello,
What, me?
Photo.
No, that's
No,
what it's called.
that's what it's called. Yeah,
the big
volume.
screen.
Oh, yeah, they
volume?
just use
Yes.
those. And I mean, when you have to hire on, like 1,000 people to do all of the animations for that, it's essentially the same as building a video game, but they're doing it for backgrounds for a film. That increases the cost exponentially. So, unless they go back to the old way of actually building sets, that's just an assumed added cost, at the base level anymore, which is honestly
Fletcher,
really too bad.
if I remember correctly, the Mandalorian season 1 was like the first big production to use it like in a big way, right?
Right. That of that level, yeah. Because
Yeah,
basically
and
you
then
have giant screens on top, on the side, and everything creating the world, right? Instead of a green screen. And now they're shooting that for everything. But the problem is that you can see kind of like those weird colors come from it,
Yeah. You noticed it right away.
I mean, look at a cool villain like this, man. We didn't get this.
Yeah, this villain is called Zaran. He's said to be a weapons master who fought against Shang-Chi, and he's said to originate from Britain as a former MI6 agent who decided to go rogue and work for Fu Manchu.
Oh, that's wild.
You know what he
I mean,
looks
how cool
like?
is that, man?
He looks like an
Maybe we'll get it in the
executioner from the old UK days where they would chop
Yeah.
people's, heads off for,
Oh,
when
yeah,
they did.
That's
That's what
the
it looks
thing.
like.
Yeah,
Right.
it also looks like the executioner from like we had in Thor Ragnarok a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, back in those days in the comics, they just like were able to do whatever they wanted.
Yeah, they could actually have fun. Is that what you're
'Cause,
saying? They could have fun. Actually, imagine a fun comic book.
No. It's because the reason I mentioned that is because I was on a stream with a friend. I was in this chat and we were suggesting like all like the like the racist characters that have been created like in the early 80s and late 70s, and they used to like just do some like wild stuff back then. Like there's a character called I think he's called hemoglobin. He's like a vampire that gives he gives AIDS, like if he bites you,
I
like
remember
he gives
that.
you AIDS and stuff. Yeah, it's like crazy stuff like that, man. So they could just do whatever. So they would do cool designs like that, which they don't really do nowadays.
Well, come on, we did get.
Wasn't
what
that all
was
before
new,
the comics
Mutants?
code, though?
Yeah.
Damn, I don't remember because I've seen a bunch of documentaries. No, I mean because that cocaine character was in the 80s, and that was way after.
Yeah,
the
that
comics
was that was like
Oh,
80s,
okay.
early 90s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they did that shit like just because they wanted to.
Yeah, but you have super cringe comic book characters now, like that Snowflake and that kind of thing. So it's like
I
they
don't
have
even think
really
they got
tone-deaf
released,
characters.
Fletcher.
No,
I think
I
they
didn't
were. It
even.
was
That's
so bad.
Yeah,
that
no,
yes,
they-
it was
yeah,
only
they were
promotional. It was basically
Yeah.
promotional material or limited materials of them. They never
because they
officially
knew
released it. That's how bad it
YouTubers
was.
would make so much money out of that junk.
They should have released it, man. It would have been a cool collector's item.
Yeah, that's what we wanted.
It became
Alpha
lost
Proton.
media.
Yeah.
We just wanted we just wanted a kick-ass, martial arts movie. Why can't we get that? We can't even get that in anything. Everything has to be like, like wild. But look at the martial
Because
arts
it
movies
costs
that
too-
are coming out. I mean, John Wick
They don't want to
makes
spend the money
tons
on
of
the
money.
stuntmen.
John Wick
Yeah,
makes money based on what they're doing. Look at they even had like look at the Raid, right?
Yeah,
Raid,
I was gonna
Raid
say
1, Raid 2.
the raid is probably the
Raid is
last
the last
cool.
one. Yeah.
What did
Yeah,
that
probably
cost?
the
Like
last
$10
one.
million
Also,
dollars?
The Protector
Let me
If
see.
that
with
much.
Tony
Oh, The
with Tony
Protector,
Jaa,
Tony
another
Jaa.
good movie.
I was just
The-
about
Yeah.
to say that
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Tony
None of
Jaa
those
is an
movies are
ass kicker.
more than
that was
like
great.
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
They
lots of
could have gotten
potential.
Tony
That's all
Jaa
we
if they couldn't
want.
get Jackie
That's
Chan
literally
to do
that's
the
all you had
fight
to do. You
choreography.
didn't have to have the dragons.
gotten
You
Tony
didn't have to have
Jaa.
the rings.
Yeah. They never, yeah, and they should, and they never had to deviate so much at all. I mean, gosh.
I didn't even
Also-
think you need a
It
big
could-
name for this movie. You could just put anybody.
Yeah.
Well,
and-
that was
Yeah,
the
they could have
question
had
I
an
was.
up and coming
That was the
actor
question I was going to
or
ask you
an
guys.
Asian actor that's unknown.
yeah, that too. In fact, they should start.
That's the question I was going to ask you guys about Shang-Chi. Was this movie made when they were trying to appeal to China? Because remember, there was a period where they would
Yes.
cram in a bunch of
Yes.
Asian actors and stuff. Because remember, is it Age of
Mulan.
Ultron or Iron Man 3 that has like a whole different
yeah.
cut for China?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they did the Mulan
Oh,
movie
yeah.
too. So yeah, they actually were.
Yeah.
This was for the Asian market. This was for China.
Yeah. See, yeah,
This was
that's what I thought,
absolutely
yeah,
for
yeah.
China.
Because don't forget, it was after.
They're not going to
you
say
know,
that, but it is.
That's the reason they had Aquafina, because of Crazy Rich Asians. You know,
Yeah.
they were trying to say, oh, let's make Crazy Rich Asians, with Marvel, and instead of going back and making actual martial arts film with awesome villains.
Yeah.
Just have them fight a rogues gallery. It's like literally do the raid, but Marvel. That's it. You make all the money. All the money.
Yep. Right on. Yeah, and if they wish to go ahead with the sequel, they should definitely consider.
And I would
fitting
even say make it rated.
Yeah, definitely.
R.
Mandarin.
Yeah, you could. I mean, you're going off the Deadpool kind of vibe with it. Make it a hyper violent and rated R. Who cares?
Yeah.
Because we need a cool martial arts movie, because they tried that with the I don't know if you guys saw that what's the name of that movie, the new Tom Hardy movie, the one that came out on Netflix. My
Oh
God,
yeah,
that shit
yeah.
was
Have it?
terrible.
What was
Have
it?
Have it?
Yeah,
Is it
that
called
yeah that
Have It?
one. Oh my
Yeah.
God, that was trash.
Yeah, that was
Definitely.
pretty bad.
I tried to like it, but it's just
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like Tom Hardy, but he's not good in everything he does. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
it's hit or miss.
Well, he's great in that TV show that they have. What's it called?
Mobland.
Mobland, man. He's epic in
Mobland.
Mobland.
yeah, it was pretty good.
He is very good.
He is good in that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we
'Cause
wanted.
he-
I mean,
they haven't even done the Mad Max with him. They didn't even want to bring him back as Max.
yeah.
So
Yeah, you see, I just
It's
looked it up.
unfortunate.
I googled last great martial arts film, and the first thing that came up was The Raid 2. So man, it's been a while.
Yeah. It's been a while. That's what we wanted. I mean, they set it up. You had a fight ring. I don't know why they had Wong, but I guess you needed tuna fish sandwiches money. And then you had him fight Abomination and stuff. But then you had Shang-Chi get his butt whooped by his sister that didn't train in martial arts. She just watched it. So it's
Yeah,
like, come on, man.
you don't do
Yeah,
that.
I
You don't-
know.
Girl
Come
boss.
on, man.
Why?
Yeah, I
why did
hear
they
ya.
did that? He was a master martial arts, and he gets his ass handed by somebody that just
I know.
didn't do
So-
anything.
Yeah, it's basically she watched it on YouTube, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
so
not
he-
anime where Majin Buu can just copy somebody by looking at them doing their techniques. That's not how it works.
And that's where you're wrong, said Marbles.
Ah, and here it
That's
is.
peak, that's
Take
peak
a look
Kevin
at
Feige,
this.
because remember he said he wanted to make everything female
Oh my
after
God.
Wonder Woman.
Alpha Proto is onto something, guys. He's explaining why they
Oh,
cast.
man, that's messed up.
Does he? Let me see.
So he's trying to get that underground North Korean audience.
Yeah, you get the approval of North Korea, so they
Yeah,
can have
it's like-
Disney movies over there. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and China.
There you go.
Yeah, but they could. But that kind of got. That kind
Well,
of rubbed
I know-
them the wrong way around.
I know it didn't
Because
air
they said
in
he
the
was
US, but
ugly.
apparently the show he was on was like big everywhere else but the US.
Yeah, it's pretty. It was pretty big. The convenience store one.
Yeah, that one. So I mean, that had to count for something. It's probably why they cast him.
Yeah, I think they're picking people based on their Instagram account and not what's right for the movie.
Yeah, I hear ya.
Well, yeah, they didn't what's the dude who was what was his name? The dude from Training Day. You know what I'm talking about? Hawk? Ethan
Ethan
Hawke,
Hawke.
I think his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, his daughter, who is Uma Thurman. That's their daughter. She said it first, and then Ethan Hawke responded, "Yeah, my daughter's right. We have to cast people with a strong social media presence, like Instagram and Twitter and all that, because
Did they really? Oh,
Well,
man.
they don't, but they want to. They don't have to.
Yeah.
They choose to. I agree with you.
Yeah.
They don't have to, but they want to.
They think that's gonna
Well,
translate
there's honestly
to
a big
views.
problem with doing it that way, though. Then they're not able to do any kind of risk assessment, and they're not able to control the messaging, because when they cast people like that, you end up with Rachel Zegler, who tanks your movie and ruins everything.
Oh yeah.
I still believe she did favors, if you catch my drift, casting couches. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. Just come to my hotel room tonight, okay, sweetheart?
Get that image out of
That's
my
just
head.
how it is, man. It's always been like that.
Get it out
always
of my
been-
head. Get that image out of my
Yeah.
head.
Well, with Rachel Zegler, I feel they were trying to do the thing that they were trying to do in what was the year that the Prince of Persia movie came out?
Wasn't that like 2008
Yeah,
Yeah,
remember
something
that
like
was the
that.
or
period where they had
2007?
I think
where
it
they
was
had all these
2007.
actors and they tried to put them in a bunch of movies like Jai Courtney and the guy from
Right.
Avatar, and they were just trying to find like the next big star, and it would never take off.
Oh, remember that dude from the Forbidden Kingdom? Whatever happened to him? He fizzled
Oh,
out
yeah.
after that movie.
Isn't that the guy from the Sky High?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Also,
Let
the
me
guy who
see.
played Anakin Skywalker, I like him, Hayden Christensen, but outside
Hayden
of
Christensen.
outside of Jumper, did he really do anything besides
He did
the
some
Star Wars?
drama stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he
Outside
did
of the
some,
Star
like-
Wars movies, what did he do
He
besides
did some
Jumper?
drama and stuff. I have a friend who's like
You did-
in love with him. So like
did a
everything
lot.
he
Yeah, he
did,
did
he
it-
did like some dramatic roles and
Straight-
stuff.
Yeah.
straight to
He did
video
a great
stuff.
movie
But-
before Star Wars called Life as a House.
Did it
Yeah, that was
Yes, Life as a House. I remember that.
do financially well, or did
No, no, it didn't.
Yeah,
No,
but
it's like an
unfortunately,
indie
and outside of Star Wars, right? Outside of and then
Yeah.
Jumper, he didn't.
Yes, Jumper.
He fizzled out. He didn't go higher and higher after that.
Yeah,
So
his
you're
last
right.
big
They
Also,
try to
movie,
get some
Jumper-
actors that are sort of unknown.
Jumper
His
did
last
so
big
poorly
movie
that
was,
they canceled the planned sequels for it because it was
Sequel, yes.
supposed to be a trilogy.
Yeah, it was actually not that
And,
bad.
and I
It was
liked
a fun
Jumper
movie.
too. And
I liked
and
it
the
too.
copy movie. What
Jumper
was
was
the other
cool, man.
copy movie? What was the other movie that was like a copy of it? It had the dude
Like-
from the African dude from Never Back Down. You know
That
what I'm
was
talking about, right?
Push. I think wasn't it Push?
Push, yeah,
Push, that's
Push.
it.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
Chris,
I like
Wait,
those
Chris
movies
Evans.
and the
Chris Evans?
Chronicles.
Chris Evans,
yeah, with Chris Evans. Yeah,
movies
yeah,
like
yeah.
that where it has superpowers or psychic abilities.
Yes.
I love those types of movies.
Oh,
Yeah.
you mean Timu X-Men, right?
Yes, basically cheap X-Men.
But
I
it was
love
great,
it.
But,
Swap
but,
me.
but it was a great movie. Like it was generally a great movie. So I just recently saw it because I don't know how many of you have a Roku TV, like the smart TVs that have Roku
Talk about
built in.
Timu and then bring up.
Yeah, I do.
Nice.
Like they play 24/7 on the Roku channel. All those movies from like the mid 2000s to like 2018, 2017. So I've caught up on a bunch of those movies that I never ended up
The
seeing.
2000s had the best. Yeah, the 2000s were the best time music was used wisely and expertly in the superhero movies, and they were the best to be played in action films too. Yeah, they
Yep.
knew how to they knew how to promote and advertise back then. But nowadays, it's gone the other way.
Well, I always say it's because back then you had agents and studio heads more in control than they are now.
Exactly.
Now it's like because you're always talking about WB. Now they're just like the people that run the studios are just they don't have a backbone. They don't know how to say
No,
no.
they're nepo babies. They're never qualified. Their friend gave them the job because they failed at some other
Mhm.
business venture. So hey,
Exactly.
you suck at being a boxing promoter. Why don't you be a promoting shit for television or movies? That's how it
Yep,
works. To quote Kevin Smith, they fail upwards in Hollywood. Barbara Streisand's hairdresser, remember that guy, John Peters? He owns
Oh, yeah,
the
John
film
Peters.
rights to
Yeah.
Superman, including television, because of an error that Warner Brothers still regret to this day. That's why they have to make Superman movies with his name on it as a part of the deal forever until he dies.
Yeah, isn't that why they did the I remember reading that that's why they put the whole world engine in Man of Steel because they finally gave him his giant spider that he was always begging for.
Yeah, or a giant polar bear. He wanted like 2 giant polar bears guarding the Fortress of Solitude to
That's
fight
actually kinda
Superman.
cool.
Yeah, that's cool, but it's like, but you have to have a storyline why they're doing it. And the same thing with the ninja concept. He wanted Superman to fight ninjas or Shaolin monks. That's a cool idea, but there has to be a reason why they're doing it. You can't just do it for the sake of doing it.
I don't know. Did you watch some of Zack Snyder's movies?
I did,
He
unfortunately,
doesn't
including
have
Sucker
to,
Punch.
you know? Sucker
Yeah, but
Punch.
it was all a dream, man. It was all in their
Well,
heads.
there you go.
It was all bullshit.
It was all a dream, and they read, Word Up magazine. So that's what happens nowadays.
I don't like movies when they do that. Like the whole, unless it's time travel or dimensional hopping, or he has to save the world or the universe. Don't do time travel to basically do a movie that never happened, because it kills the stakes involved.
Well,
It doesn't matter.
I mean, look at that into the Shang-Chi. Going back to Shang-Chi, they had that whole world portal things with the like Dragon World and stuff like that. It just it kind of took it over the top. I think that it didn't need to go, and I think we all agree on that, right? That it just
Oh yeah.
something that should have been very ground level became cosmic for absolutely no. I mean, having Wong there for the thing, it made no sense to me.
They made him
Except it's
Chinese.
like, because he's Asian.
They made him Chinese Doctor Strange.
That's exactly why they.
That's
made it
what they
famous.
did.
Yeah.
They instead of getting like an actual kung fu flick, like you said, Fletcher, they said, "Fuck it, no, we need a Chinese Doctor Strange. We need
Well,
that.
I mean,
we need that."
Wong is in the comics. I mean, he's skinny in the comics.
Yeah,
but,
not fat. That's why they
no
weren't going to
shade.
cast him in the movie. They weren't going to make a Wong movie. So he's like, "Fuck it, we'll use Shang-Chi instead. Fuck
Right?
it, he looks skinnier."
Oh my god, man.
Dang.
Yeah, that's definitely what studios think these days.
They're still image conscious. I don't care what anybody's body positivity or not. Look, they know that attractive people make money. They
Then
sell
why
tickets.
did they cast Aquafina?
I want to
Answer
believe
me
it's the
that-
cast, the
riddle me
casting
that,
couch theory.
Batman.
The casting couch
Social
theory.
pressure.
Oh,
She's a huge star.
Casting couch.
From how crazy
She
Rich
knows how to
Biggest
use her
star.
mouth. She knows how to use her mouth. That's the only
remember the
message.
squat? Remember the squat? Squat.
Yeah, she's squatting on something.
Yeah, definitely something.
Yeah. Everybody's buying her hip hop albums. Don't forget.
Yeah, I have yellow fever, so I like aqua.
Well, she's not very yellow. I would say she's more of a like light vanilla,
If I remember correctly, didn't they have future plans with the director of Shang-Chi before the whole shakeup?
Yeah. Yeah, they were supposed to greenlight Shang-Chi 2 right after. That's where they had the end credit scenes.
Definitely.
Yeah, because it says Shang-Chi will return.
Absolutely.
I hope it doesn't end up like Flash
Yeah,
Gordon, the original one. Come back next time to another episode of Flash Gordon. And it never happened.
Never happened. Yeah.
It
Yeah, it
never
never
happened.
Oh,
Don't do
So-
shit like that. Don't give up a cliffhanger where you're gonna say you're coming back and you're not. Don't ever do that.
Right.
You have
So
a
the guy
deleted
that
scene
direct-
where you have an epilogue, so if the movie bombs, there you go. You have a way to write that off and you can't do a sequel. You have like a
Exactly.
bonus feature, and you can air it on TV as the real ending. There you go. Oh, he comes out of it, defeats the villain, the end.
Yeah. Speaking of villains, here's another one that's kind of familiar to many of you guys from other video game franchises like Mortal Kombat. This one is called Dark Strider. He was an enemy
Hey,
of
that's Goro.
yeah, yeah, forearms like Guru based off the Hindu mythology of the Hindu gods. And yeah, this is when they first met and fought each other. Guru, yeah, Dark Strider was one of Shang-Chi's recurring foes who fought the martial artist in the 70s era of comics. And man, he knew how to pack a punch.
I mean, that would
Yeah,
have been cool.
Hey,
yeah.
did they just like totally rip off uh Goro from the? It could be, right?
I think this is earlier.
I think this is before Goro, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that's what I'm saying. Like the Mortal Kombat team probably just rip, because you know how in Big Trouble, like if you ever watch Big Trouble Little China, uh, it's common knowledge that rating is just ripped off of the Three Storms. But if you actually watch the movie, they actually ripped off a whole bunch of other things from the movie into the games that people
Well,
don't really.
I also think that they ripped off Chinese, mythology / like gods and stuff like that. I think that's what that actually came from. And
Yeah, but
the
there's
Mortal
also
Kombat people can argue and say, well, we didn't rip it off from that movie. We took it from Chinese religion and Chinese gods. That's how they get out of it without getting sued.
yeah,
So
but I bet they got sued, didn't they?
no, but they probably argued and say, no, we took it from Chinese mythology and religion. We did not take it from the movie.
Yeah,
And they
because
can
what I was
show
gonna-
that as proof and not get in
what I
trouble.
was
They
gonna
could,
ask you guys is, does anybody know when Razorfist started streaming on YouTube? Because I was looking up the character Razorfist, and he was created in 2008, so they might have like a
Razorfist.
copyright infringement.
Oh, I know what you mean.
oh, you know
Yeah,
about the YouTuber with the glasses, with the sunglasses?
Yeah, that guy. Because I looked up Razorfist, and it says he was created in 2008 in the comics. So if he
Yeah.
didn't start streaming before 2008, we could,
No, he wasn't streaming in 2008. There wasn't a streaming stuff in 2008, dude. You know
Yeah,
how
I
bad
get-
the YouTube videos were? There was part 1s and 2s of anime episodes on YouTube. You couldn't air a 20 or 30-minute thing on YouTube in 2008 yet.
yeah,
You could only listen to like 4 or 5-minute songs. That's it.
See,
absolutely.
so maybe somebody that doesn't like him could phone up Marvel and be like, Anna.
If they wanted to be assholes like they did with Eric July, unfortunately. Remember that?
Mhm.
They
Yeah,
tried
'cause
to
see, I'm
say that
looking up-
Isom was a religious thing. In reality, Isom was actually a relative of his that passed away years ago.
Oh,
Oh
That
no,
he
that's
was-
my bad. He was actually created in the 70s. The picture I was looking at is like a modern version
Okay.
from like 2008. That's why I was like 2008 sounds like way too
Too early?
too recent. But it's just the modern iteration that I was looking at.
Yeah, if that's the case,
Because
then
you know a
mhm.
lot of people like to do the what you call it. A lot of modern comic writers, they like to do the Grant Morrison thing, where they just take an obscure created character that's maybe appeared once, and then they just like retool it and make it into like a new version. I know that's like very common in the 2000s.
yeah.
Well, there was an exception to that. Hawkman, right? There was
Yeah.
another character, and I forgot what his. I think it was.
You mean bird
Zarael? Zarael, I think his name is. He was created because DC told him, no, you're not using Hawkman for your story, because there was like a legal loophole that they were probably fighting with another person for that. So they said, no, you have to make up your own character. He created an angel character instead. named
Oh, like the
Zarael.
Watchmen. That's what happened with all the characters in the Watchmen. Because what's his name? Alan Moore. Is it Alan Moore?
Yeah, it's Alan
Yes,
Moore.
it's Alan Moore.
Yeah. he originally wanted to use all the Charlton characters, but they told him no because like the same thing you said of copyrighted stuff. So he just ended up making like different versions for the Watchmen.
I thought it was because he thought about it and he said no. At the last minute, I'm gonna make my own versions of.
Oh, really? I don't.
I could be
The
wrong.
original the original documentary that I saw from like the early 2000s. I remember that's the story that they gave, but they always change their stories anyways.
Yeah, you're right, dude. They everybody could be full of shit. DC or Alan Moore could be lying, because that's again. There's one side and then there's another side and then there's the truth, which is in the middle. We'll never know the whole story. They're never
Yeah,
gonna
because
admit it.
I just saw what was it? Yes, I'm sorry to like go on a tangent, but I just saw was it yesterday or the day before that everybody's dunking on Gunn because he's claiming that he invented the Infinity Stones, but people are saying like they've been around in the comics for years. Like how could you have invented them?
I think he meant I created it for the movies adaptions. He better say that because that's
Yeah.
Oh, I
That
didn't
would
see.
be-
Yeah, I didn't see the actual video, but I mean, I hope that's what he said.
because that's like
If not, it's
saying
just-
Christopher Nolan saying I created Batman. No, you didn't. You created this Batman for your movie, not
Mhm.
not in general. Because Bill Finger and Bob Kane created Batman in the 30s.
Yeah, and he's a derivative character from the Phantom and Sorrow. So.
Oh yeah, and the
Yep.
and the Shadow as well,
Shadow.
and
Well, that
Sherlock
other,
Holmes to an extent.
Right.
The other director guy recently that did the Castlevania series for Netflix.
Adi
took-
Shankar.
Yeah, he took
Oh, that guy.
full credit for doing.
Oh yeah, he ran with that, bro.
Yeah.
He just yeah.
That
Yeah,
guy's
he's just
such a
like, yep.
scumbag.
I feel bad for Bill Finger so bad because like his whole life he basically suffered and struggled. Like his family even said that. Like he was so happy when he got to work on Batman 66 because that was the only thing at the time after his death, right? Before he died, that was the only thing that he was credited for working on Batman officially. And he was
Have you
crying
guys
because
seen-
he's like, "That's my characters, man. I did a show for my characters." He said that.
If
And
you
he was
guys
crying
haven't seen the
about it.
documentary, it's a great watch, man. The one from a couple years back. I can't remember exactly what year it is, but I remember it was on Hulu. Where it was all Bill Finger. I forgot what the name of it's called. Let me see.
It's sad that he got fucked over and that Bob Kane lied and said he was the sole creator. He fucked over the Schuster brothers for Superman because they were going to unionize, right? Back then.
I don't know. They're called.
And he ratted them. He ratted them out and fucked them over. And he lied and said, "Oh, I'm a minor. When I created Batman, I was underage. I was 16 or whatever." That wasn't true. He was of age. DC Comics
Shang-Chi
panicked.
was part of the Midnight Suns. I didn't know that. That's cool. Okay, I found it. It's called Batman and Bill. It came out in 2017. It's pretty
Yeah,
good
that
watch,
was
man.
that was a good documentary.
And it's sad that DC doesn't like the older Batman shows. They don't credit Bill Finger. They leave it as just Bob Kane only. Like the Batman 2004, it still has Bob Kane's name on it only. Bill Finger's
that
not
true? 'Cause
credited.
I literally have the original series on my shelf. I wonder.
I saw in the credits created by Bob Kane. They didn't say created
Yeah.
by Bob Kane and Bill
he
Finger.
doesn't get any
They
credit.
have that, yeah. That's true.
They don't have his name. Only post 2012 or 13. Now they have him in future materials, but the old, which is sad, because I think they should go back and if they're gonna re-release like the Batman or other stuff like Batman the Animated Series, Brave and the Bold, all that, and for 4K Blu-ray or Blu-ray, you can do that. It's not gonna take too long. It's just only gonna take like a minute or two with an editor.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they could do it digitally anyways, because I mean, how hard is it to just like?
That's what
splice that
that's
in
what I'm
there?
saying. They could do it super quick.
Yeah. They could just do it right.
It's only gonna take them like 2 minutes, dude. It's only gonna take them 2 minutes with a good editor. It just take 2 minutes. Just go in there fast.
Do you know who? Because you're speaking about DC. Do you know who's working with Jim Lee now? Because I know Dan DiDio, he ain't around anymore.
No, I don't, man. I wish I could tell you that, man. Snape.
Because I know it's been a while since he left. So.
Well, that's one of the things. If you're bringing it back to Shang-Chi, that's one of the funny things about Shang-Chi is that it was shopped first for DC. But the only reason it went to Marvel is because they had they told them you could do it, but we have to include the Mandarin. That's why they had to ask. I'm sorry, Fu Manchu, because they had the rights to Fu Manchu at the time, and that's how Fu Manchu became his father in the comic.
Also, the other reason, Fletcher, is because Warner Brother executives at the time that they bought DC Comics, they said, we're not interested in this Chinese stuff, this Chinese kung fu stuff, because it's a fad. It's a fad. Yeah. Because at the time they had kung fu, with David Carradine. Mm-hmm. It was a hit. And the Bruce Lee movies and the Jackie Chan.
That's what inspired Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi was inspired from kung fu.
Which in turn it was created by Bruce Lee because he sued them before he died. Because they stole his concept. They told him flat out to his face, "We don't think this would work." And then he found out on television with his wife, with David Carradine on the screen. He's like, "I'm suing you, motherfuckers." He found out that they stole his concept, and it was originally called The Warrior. That's why the television show The Warrior came out, which I don't necessarily agree that Bruce Lee would have those concepts in his show, though.
Heck no.
The lesbian and gay scene. Look, if that's what you are, that's what you are. But I don't believe Bruce Lee back then would even, think like that. No, he would not.
Bruce Lee was a very family-oriented guy.
Does his daughter have any involvement with the show?
Just money. They paid her, and she shut up. That's all she did. Come on, she knows her dad would never approve of a lesbian sex scenes in a movie or a TV. He would never approve of that. Never.
Well, they throw all that stuff in anymore because basically it's the Netflix effect that has permeated the industry. So, now they do all the race swaps and they have to include, gay and lesbian scenes. They only cast people based on the color of their skin if it fits the character for big films, and if they don't think it's a big deal, they just swap it all together to whatever they want to push that particular year. So it's really tough to get solid adaptations or even for original works that don't have all that stuff in them anymore. I mean, if you want to look at it, it's super blatant now the way they do it, but it honestly really started back in the 1990s, that they started including those kind of things, but they were still, for the most part, done, pretty tastefully, I would say. It wouldn't be the main focus of the character, I guess, is what I'm getting at. And now identity politics and racial, stuff.
They have ESG quotas.
They just shove
because
it in
because they're paid by the government, and also these groups. They're like, hey, you better do this or else we'll cancel your ass. So the fear / the money, they have to do it. It's not like they want to. Some of them don't want to do it.
Well, but they could do it. Directors like the a-hole that did the Wheel of Time, which you guys have no idea how much that upset me. I know Sargent did a show on he did another panel on Wheel of Time. I don't think I was able to be there for that one, but you have no idea what I mean. Like, I was literally yelling at my screen, complaining about stuff, and my wife was like, if you hate it that much, don't watch it. I'm like, this is literally all we're ever gonna get, and this asshole ruined it.
But
He
Lord Shadow,
threatened the audience. He specifically
do
said,
that
if you
since
guys
season one?
complain, I'm gonna make all your favorite characters gay and lesbian on screen. And he did.
Dude was crazy.
You know what it reminds me of, Lord Shadow? Remember Castlevania?
Yeah.
The scene where they made Alucard, they made him a fruit cup. Like, and I refuse to watch
Little light in the
anything.
loafers.
I refuse. Yeah, they made him sugary. I refused.
Cancel both of you right now.
Hashtag
cancel both of you right now.
Yes, cancel me.
Sugar in the tank. What is this? The 1940s with your?
Well, we would like to say the real thing, but we can't say that due to YouTube
We bring
policies.
back the creative old ways.
The
We were
creative
there when
old
the old
ways.
magic was written.
Oh yeah.
You got a little sugar in the tank. It's light in the loafers. I mean, who even has loafers nowadays?
One of those sensitive types. There are many ways.
Yeah,
Yeah,
emotional men.
They literally killed Alucard as this manly vampire and said, no, we're gonna make him into a sugary tanky guy just for the sake of it, because we want to fuck with the fans. We don't give a shit what the real fans
and
want.
the thing is it literally had nothing to add to the story. It added nothing, and it purposely skewed the audience's perception of the character for no reason.
Well, they're trying to get the so-called female audience, the Lestat audience, interview with the vampire style.
Yeah, but they're a minority of a minority.
What?
Yeah.
Have you seen Twilight's numbers? That's what they want to hit.
Yeah, but that's a 1 in a million though, Fletcher. To be fair, that was like a lightning in a bottle situation.
And what does Hollywood always try to do? Hit lightning in a bottle over again.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like Twilight proved by sheer luck you can make a very girly version of what women think of vampires in a sexy way, and some gay guys, of course, right?
Hey,
Sure.
I'm not gay and I like those movies.
I'm not saying nobody should or shouldn't like the movie. What I'm saying is
nobody's saying there's any the urges that are suppressed at the moment.
What I'm saying is that they kind of made Twilight is the reason why indirectly Alucard had to go through the back door, if you catch my drift. With siblings, with brother and sister. Why would you have siblings have sex with each other? Does that
they watch Game of Thrones? They watch Game of Thrones.
They have a brother and a sister. They're twin brothers and sisters, and they're having a three-way with Alucard. Why would you do that?
As much as all the chicks call us gooners, they're into some really weird stuff, man.
King
This
Style,
whole
what
thing
season
went
was
Like
that?
some straight up
Wait,
degenerate
what was that,
stuff.
Snape? What was that, Snape?
What season was that?
That was season 2, I believe.
Yeah.
Really? Because I don't remember that at all.
Of course, you wanted to wipe that out of your brain like Men in Black style with the eraser. I would too.
Go watch that right now.
Yeah, because I was a big because I was a big fan of the show, and
Rewind
I even
that.
caught up. I even
Played
caught
in
up on
slow
it, and
motion,
I
right?
Yeah, I don't remember
Just
that at all.
for research purposes.
That's right. Research.
Research.
Yes.
But
Also-
what
go ahead,
what
Steve.
Lord Shadow was saying, you can do it tastefully, because they did that with House of the Dragon with the race swap, and pretty much nobody complained. Everybody
Well,
thought
they
it was
explained it though.
Yeah.
At
They
least
made
they
it
wrote
make
it into
sense.
the story. And
Right.
it
Well,
made
can
but
made
the
it
thing
make sense,
is
'cause it's
they
not
didn't
in
make it the main focus of the
Yeah,
character.
exactly. So they can do it. They just don't want to.
You know
Yeah,
what?
because they're
It's
lazy.
messed up
They're
that
lazy.
All you guys are trying to talk about other interesting things instead of talking about Shang.
You're right. We've
Yeah,
completely,
yeah.
We're
we
talking
have
about comic
completely
books and
derailed
other
it.
things. Yeah, you're
Well,
right. We
Yeah,
derailed
and
we
it.
did
gay
derail.
vampires and gay vampires.
Because some of the characters
Supernatural?
some of the characters that Giratina putting on the screen are pretty cool looking. Like that one character called Midnight looked pretty dope.
Yeah, Midnight's actually pretty tight.
Yeah,
It does look
he
cool.
Yeah, he started out as an enemy of Shang-Chi, who also worked for Fu Manchu to hunt down the Kung Fu martial artist himself back in
This
the
is what I'm
70s.
saying. I
The
mean,
dude on the screen now looks like Dr. Manhattan.
yeah.
Yeah,
I love the
Yeah, he
little,
looks like a
you know,
dark
flapper.
Dr. Manhattan with a. Which is,
It looks like a Dr. Manhattan sponsored by Gucci.
Yeah.
You know, it's got like those Gucci colors and stuff.
yeah, with a cape. It's like Dr. Manhattan putting on
Yeah,
clothes. And
right.
he darkened his aura. He's like, nah, I'm gonna wear clothes because I don't want to get arrested,
Yeah.
even though I'm a spirit or a ghost. Fuck
Yep.
it.
You know,
I'm
I
just
gotta
gonna
say,
put on this outfit.
talking about comic book movies, why can't we get rogue galleries anymore? You know, Shang-Chi had really cool rogues gallery of heroes and stuff that they created, you know, based on the whole Fu Manchu family.
You know
Um,
why that is? I blame X-Men for that, Fletcher. When they had to bring back Magneto constantly in every
oh my
fucking
gosh,
movie.
everything's Magneto.
It's like, dude, I
I
like
know.
Ian McKellen. Don't get me wrong, but like, dude, you're old. I'm not trying to be mean, right? But like, dude, what can you contribute in every fucking movie, dude? Take
He's
a
in
break.
Doomsday. What do you
Make
expect?
it. Yeah,
He's
dude,
Magneto
do
again.
what they did with Captain Barbosa, right? If you're gonna have him in the movie, right, have him at the end of the credits, like he's helping Xavier out because one of the X-Men got abducted or killed and they needed his help. He's like, "Oh, hi there, Xavier. You need my help?" And you end the movie like that. Like, holy shit, he's back.
He shows
That's
up.
how you
surprise,
do it.
Mother truckers.
That's how
And-
you
and
bring
to-
him in a
to,
cameo at the end.
To be fair, like as a huge X-Men fan, like there's a bunch of cool villains that they could have
Yeah,
used, and they've yet to even try
not
them in
even
live action.
scratch the surface. I mean, you have so many. They have a great rogues gallery. I mean, they kind of use the Brotherhood of Mutants, kinda, not really. You know, we got like
the less said about X-Men 3, the better, man. 'Cause that,
And also,
no, but you have like, you know, you have that whole, you know,
They wasted Archangel in that.
oh my gosh,
You're
they
right.
wasted
they wasted
Apocalypse,
Juggernaut.
you know, yeah.
They wasted Juggernaut.
Yeah,
All he
'cause-
said, "I'm Juggernaut, bitch."
Yeah.
That's all he
movies,
did.
Yeah,
They wasted
the Deadpool
him.
movies have done a good job to like use like deep cut characters that would have never.
I mean,
Oh, there
just
we
think
go.
about
Shang-Chi versus Midnight. Let's go.
that's what I'm talking about. Mr.
Yeah,
Sinister, you got, I mean, imagine now, even like the Hellfire clubs, they kind of hinted at it, but they really didn't touch on it. That just a Hellfire club would have been epic, and they wouldn't have to spend that much money on effects on that, you know. But especially if they're going into this body horror thing, you could have Mr. Sinister. It's just, it makes no sense, man.
Also, Nightcrawler was missing in X-Men 3, which sucked. He was awesome.
Definitely.
He's supposed to be coming back, so there you go.
I like Nightcrawler.
That's a cool. Man. You know, we don't get cool, like hyper graphic covers like this.
In the 70s, the covers, the characters, that's why. Like I was talking to a friend yesterday, I much prefer the X-Men from the 70s and early 80s. Just like with Daredevil and all that stuff, I really like the stuff from the 70s.
Yeah, the older stuff had heart to it. You could tell they obviously did it for a paycheck, of course, but you can tell they did it for the love of it too.
Yeah, and what's crazy is I know I talked to a lot of friends that are comic book fans, but they've never read old stuff. Like if you read this older stuff, this stuff wasn't written for kids that would buy comic books. It was just basically written for like people our age.
Oh, yeah.
They would just be like, well, who's gonna read it anyway? So let me just write whatever I want.
So back to Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu. Go ahead, Sergeant.
Yeah. Yeah, the man. Yeah, Shang-Chi fought
Yeah, that's the
this
character
guy.
I was talking about. Yeah, Midnight. He looks really
Yeah. Shang-Chi first fought this guy on top of a crane out in the city, which is quite dangerous for anyone to fight. Yeah. Yeah, Midnight Sun is kind of like he's kind of like a dark version of Dr. Manhattan. He even fought Silver Surfer when you look at this picture.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I know.
That's kind of cool.
And I don't know. I don't know if any movies have done it, but they could probably do like in a sequel. Like they could just throw in a bunch of like different characters in there, just like this week I fought this guy, and you know last week I fought this other guy. Just like a cool little nod to the fans. I mean, it wouldn't even cost them much just to do that real easy, but
Yeah, just like tiny little, you could do it in a 30-second flashback cameo kind of thing, because it would
Yep.
be a lot closer to what they used to do in the comic books. Because back then, there was always, an overarching story, but you had the villain of the week all the time, like
Yeah.
every new
Mhm.
release, maybe 2 or 3 weeks in a row, you would have like a big ongoing fight, but you always were going through new villains, and you had a couple recurrings, but I definitely think they could do that, and it would have improved the story, because it would have added to the, kind of to the legend of Shang-Chi, and would have shown that, he had been through things, instead of just kind of shoving him out to the audience and having him
Yep.
automatically be like uber powerful, and he just is, with no real explanation or backstory, because I think that's a big part of where it failed. It didn't give him really much in the way of character development.
I know.
And I
Yeah.
remember when the movie came out, a big talking point was that little weird creature that people were like, "Oh, this is clearly just to sell toys."
Right.
Like they had like
It was their Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
I wonder if there's any figures of Shang-Chi.
Oh, I don't know. All the figures they make anymore go into stores, don't sell for crap, and then you find them in like the bargain bin at some other place for like $2 a pop.
Marvel Legends, because I mean
Yeah.
they used to make like cool deep cut characters. Oh, there is.
Well, McFarlane Toys is probably the big one that does, really good characters and stuff, and they bring back old stuff too.
Well, before the MCU hit it big, when they were doing Marvel Legends, they would do like deep cut characters. But the thing is, since the collector's market wasn't what it is today, they would it would be an initial run, and you wouldn't see it. Like, what's the name of that dragon? The Fing Fang Foom, right? That's the name of that dragon. They've never made another figure since the original run in the early 2000s. So just for you to buy them, for you to even find that figure, it's probably like close to $150 to 200 loose.
Right.
Yeah, they're like
Easy.
100, 300. I even seen them as high as $300.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
so
Definitely.
you would think
why I was
if
wondering.
it's a desire for it, they would maybe include it in the movie and maybe sell the figure that people are trying to buy. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
And it would have been cool just to have that several villains that he has to fight his way through. I mean, the whole thing is so easy to
Because like you guys were
write.
saying, if you guys are looking for an easy show to make on Disney Plus, what would be cheaper and easy than just to have a kung fu show with him?
Yeah. Sorry about that, Alpha. That was a joke. Yes.
They'll never learn.
Alpha asked what was Ironheart's main villain, and I said poverty. Credit card debt. I don't know.
Oh, dude, Ironheart was so bad.
Was
They
the hood?
literally, it's like they tried to take every negative stereotype about black people and shove it into one show, and somehow expected that to be heroic. I just couldn't, dude.
That's messed up. I can see right now on eBay, there's a Hasbro Shang-Chi action figure for $371.
That's the Master of Kung Fu, right? The one that looks like the 70s?
No, it's just the one that looks like Simo Liu,
Oh.
constipated.
Yeah, because I found one that looks like the original character. He's called, it's even called Master of Kung Fu Shang-Chi.
Oh, that would probably sell.
Yeah, I don't know what year
Definitely.
that's from.
Yeah, no, that's sold out of stock, and it's $50.
Oh, okay, yeah, see,
Wow.
yeah, I sold that.
Yeah, that's a difference on that one. That's what we wanted. Just him in those weird bell-bottom red pants fighting a rogue gallery of crazy people.
Yeah,
Not
because
cool.
unfortunately for the movie, this movie Shang-Chi and Wakanda Forever are the toys that nobody wants. Those are the ones I remember seeing
Mm.
Yeah, that's
on the
kind of a good
shelf.
point.
Yeah. Except for that cool Chinese character that Giratina showed, the one with like the face paint, the ninja. That was a cool looking toy, but other than that,
Yeah.
yeah, the rest of them
Yeah,
are trash.
Death Dealer. Yep, that's true.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a cool cover. That's a cool cover right there. The second one, Giratina, that one.
Yeah.
That's cool art, man.
Yeah, because it shows Cap and Modoc, and who's the other guy on the left in the background there towards the bottom.
Oh, I think it was a Hydra agent and an
Yeah,
AIM.
that's that Hydra dude. He's got a name. He's like comic relief. I
Oh
forget his
yeah,
name.
like Bob or something like that.
Yeah,
or-
yeah, yeah. He's got like
Yeah, yeah.
like that one everyman, but he's
yeah.
like a central character. I remember him from like
Yeah, but I mean, look at that. I mean, you could have added to the whole Hydra thing. You could have aim. They haven't used aim so far in like hardly anything. They kind of hinted
oh
at it
yeah.
in Agents of Shield. They hinted at it in some of the Iron Man movies. You're
Agents
just
of
like,
Shield was awesome.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
just do
no.
that. This is cheap. Shang-Chi TV show. Going like fighting like aim or his father's crime. It writes itself. It's cheap.
You know what would have been inexpensive and fantastic if they would have done a Shang-Chi TV series, but like a weekly series in the style of Green Hornet.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Shut up and
That
take my
would-
money meme.
Dude, that would kick ass.
But that's what I'm saying. We're coming up with such great ideas
They should
on,
pay us,
on
man.
just that. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Marvel holler at your boys.
right?
Right? But it's so easy to make. This is such a it overly got complicated for no reason. Shang-Chi is so easy to do. He's like one of the most straightforward characters in the Marvel universe that has no superpowers. So you basically don't have to spend that much money. You're basically making a Bruce Lee movie on the cheap. And
Right.
and then just add some special effects superpower villains. I mean, Sergeant just showed us tons of freaking villains they could have used.
Yeah,
Right?
there's no shortage.
There's no shortage, and just do that. That it's cheaper to do, and with the 200 million that it made, it would have, if it cost 10 million, 20 million, you would have been all gravy. Then you could have put up 5 or 6.
Right? Oh,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt. To answer Alpha in the chat, yes, that's kind of what I'm talking about exactly. Like Werewolf by Night looked like a 40s thing. That is actually my favorite Marvel thing that has come out in a long time, and it was only an hour long.
That one shot, was that good? I never.
Oh, it was really good, man.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it from start to finish. It's called Werewolf by Night.
Yeah, it actually looked like something that had art in it. That's what you got to do.
It was
You
really
could even
good.
do. I would like them to have done Shang-Chi as a period piece.
Oh yeah.
Right? Go back to back in the day. Put it in the 70s. So you
Mhm.
can do
Werewolf
all
by
the
Night,
jokes, right?
He was wasn't he a member of a team? What's the name of that team with Blade? It was him, Blade, and a bunch of
Midnight
Oh,
Sun.
Midnight Suns.
Midnight Suns, right? I wasn't sure if that was the name. Yeah.
Yeah, but they had a team like before that because they didn't have I think it was Man Thing,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Werewolf
Yeah,
by
I forgot
Night,
about-
The Mummy.
Frankenstein, I think, right? What was it? Like it was like all the like a kind of like monster like team or something, right? I think it was like in the 80s or something.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah, they even did a modern version of it. Right before Secret Wars. Damn, what was the name of that book?
Oh no.
Yeah, it's got a name.
But I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think it would have been cool if they would have done Shang-Chi kind of like go full on 70s martial art exploitation?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that should have been the case.
How many people would have loved it, bro? Because
It
how
would have
many people don't
would have been
like
great.
the Shaolin movies, the Shaw Brothers movies, all
Yeah.
the Bruce Lee stuff, the older
Yeah.
Jackie Chan stuff? But yeah, they just,
Yeah, have somebody like Tarantino or Robert Rodriguez directing, or even John Woo. That
Yeah.
makes tons of money.
oh man, that's right.
It's so
Well,
easy.
to be fair, John Woo's falling off because I saw his last movie and my God, that was garbage.
I actually liked that one. I think it had like he had an idea that he was going with.
The
And
one with we're talking about the same one, right? The one
yeah,
with
the one with the cop.
RoboCop, yeah, the
name?
modern
Yeah.
RoboCop. My God, dude, I've never been so bored at the movie.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I actually cried in that one. I was like, man, he got me.
It
What
was
was
a
his
good
last
movie. I
movie?
mean, it was an okay movie, but it wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
Was it Silent Night? Is that what you guys were
Yeah,
talking about?
Silent Night. There we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, I've seen bits and pieces of that. I've never seen it.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was kind of art house. He was going back to his Chinese art house style.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, where he's like, a lot of like the movie's like a silent movie most of the time.
Okay,
So
I'll have
it
to
was,
check it out.
yeah, it's very like a silent movie.
Yeah, it's worth the once watch.
Yeah,
But
you can't
Okay.
go in and thinking you're going into an action movie. It's
Yeah.
a John Woo movie, but the old John Woo movies.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, not the new
Well,
ones.
here's the question about Shang-Chi. Getting back to Shang-Chi, you think that once Doomsday's over, that's pretty much it for all these characters? That they haven't done anything
No,
with?
I don't think so.
You think they're gonna like move forward and do something else, or they might just reboot?
You know what I like? I can't wait when all these characters go into public domain, because I think that's going to be awesome. I think you're going to have a lot of good characters. A lot of people do fun things with them.
Well, look, Alpha Protocol. That's a good question. Is how much do you think the actual actor's life outside of the property affects the property? Because I know he's been opening his mouth a lot, especially with that whole Shark Tank debacle that he had.
Oh, the boba tea.
Yeah, that stuff like that really turns people off.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. MCU films have been generic for a while, indeed.
Yeah.
Which is too bad, because they used to be a big event, but now they just churn out so many that it's just, dude, it's overwhelming. Like, there's still a few I haven't even watched. Like, what was Civil War. Still haven't watched it.
You haven't seen Civil War? You're going back, bro.
Yeah,
dude.
Going back.
All right,
That's
let
like
me
2015 or
explain.
something.
I didn't watch Civil War because it required having to have watched Black Panther and
No.
another
No,
movie.
Black Panther's
you're
after.
wrong, because I agree with
Or whichever
Gary,
one it was that required you to have seen Black Panther and something else. And I started and I was just like, dude, I don't want to put like 8 hours into watching another 2 movies before I can enjoy this one, and I don't want to miss out on the story, so I just didn't bother.
I think it does a good job of kind of giving you a run through of what had happened, to make it. So I think maybe maybe just go into it, just without
Just watch it
worrying
on its own.
and just watch it on its own. I think it holds up. The performances are really, really well done.
I know Gary Nerdrotic, he says it all the time, but I actually was saying it way before he was saying it, because I've been a big fan of Black Panther in the comics for years. Black Panther's actually better in Civil War than he is in his own movie.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, very
He's
true.
so
I think
cool in
so.
that movie, bro.
Yeah.
And his own movie, he's just like, they even changed his suit when he gets in his own movie. They just like totally downgraded him and stuff.
Yeah, but it doesn't really matter because Kevin Feige said he's not going to recast it.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, as a massive fan of the character, all respect to whatever his name is. I forget his name.
Chadwick
What's his?
Boseman.
Yeah, Chadwick
Okay.
Boseman. That character has been around since the 60s, and
Before
he's
Chadwick Boseman was alive.
yeah, like Chadwick Boseman is not more important than the history of that character.
Well,
That
how many
character is just
Batmans have we had since we lost Chadwick Boseman? Two.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Exactly.
Two Supermans, two Batmans. I mean,
Definitely.
True.
how many James Bonds have we had? You know, and hopefully, how many Shang-Chi's do we have? Hopefully, we have a different one next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. He did. I would have loved to have seen.
Oh yeah, that would have been epic.
I'm
Oh, yeah.
curious as that if Edgar Wright, his version of the movie would have had Scott Lang.
I
Yeah.
think so. I think that was part of it, right?
I don't remember. It's been so long that I just
Yeah.
don't remember.
Yeah,
That's
that
Yeah, but
too.
that's crazy. I can't believe that. I can't believe it's been since Civil War since we haven't seen one.
Yeah.
Same here.
Because the last one that I saw was the Spider-Man one. And then after that, I never.
Oh, I watched the Spider-Man one.
No Way Home.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
watched
no,
those movies because they were just Spider-Man movies,
Yes.
and they didn't completely hinge on all of the other stuff. You know?
But you're right. I love what you said. You're right because Thunderbolts, like that's a perfect example. Like if you didn't see the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show, if you didn't see Black Widow, if you didn't see Ant-Man 2, it
Ant-Man
makes
2, yeah.
absolutely no sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Person,
Exactly.
you're just like, what's going on or what? But that's what they're counting on nowadays. They're counting on normies. They don't really care about people that are actual fans like that.
Right.
Because
Yeah,
my
and the
brother,
poor,
my brother doesn't know anything about the canon of the movies, and he just enjoys them as entertainment.
Yeah. And now we come to our last villain character to talk about before we wrap it up. This villain called Shockwave, aka Lancaster Snake. He was another MI6 agent who went rogue, who also conspired to try to kill his own uncle and Jack Black Tarr. Eventually, he was, and from what you can see here in this comic, he was looking to keep Shang-Chi from defusing this bomb. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, and here he quotes, "Before you can defuse that bomb, you have to defeat me,
Right.
and your martial arts skills are pitiful compared to those electric power to the electric power of Shockwave."
Nice.
kind of cool.
Looks like a cool character.
I know,
And
and
you
the whole
see-
story is right there. He's like,
Yeah,
I have a bomb, I have electro powers, you know, I'm going up against you. It's like, you know, it's like basically speed, right? And you got to fight as speed with kung fu and superpowers, right? You know, fight
Exactly.
the
And like I s-
super villain and defuse the bomb, espionage, intrigue, martial arts. This comic book is the whole movie that should have been
Yep,
and,
absolutely.
and
epic.
you see how they're influenced by the stuff of the time, because I can guarantee you that whole MI6 background, they must have been like watching the James Bond films. They're like, ooh,
Oh
we
yeah.
can make a rogue MI6 agent, make him one of the villains. And
Well, the person who got Shang-Chi out of you know his father's grasp when the father was Fu Manchu, was based on an MI6 character, wasn't Sergeant? I think he
Yeah,
was
he was.
MI6, right? Wasn't he MI6?
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
and how many people knew about MI6 if it wasn't for the Bond film? You see, it all ties back together.
Oh yeah.
In the comics, who knows? It's a big world in the Marvel Comics universe as well as DC.
Right.
And you can never tell just how much potential you would get out of it unless you try it out for real instead of instead of making it a mess and having too much free will of doing what you feel like.
Yep.
Yeah, well, back then in the set, because I have a lot of comics in my short boxes in the 70s. Back then, they used to do a lot of like 2-in-1 features and like this comic featuring these two characters from these two. Because he'd be wild to see like a character from the X-Men popping up in this comic or in that comic. That used to be very common in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Marvel Present stuff. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Marvel 2-in-1, all that stuff.
All that stuff. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, and that's the sad part about Shang-Chi is that later on he was basically used as a cameo character, you know?
Oh
he
yeah.
Was, he was kind of he shadowed in on kind of on what was it, Iron Fist. He was in a few other things. It was like, oh, we have Asian representation as Shang-Chi in the back corner.
Yeah, he popped up in like Heroes for Hire and stuff.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is that sucks, but
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And this is the movie. Hashtag not my Shang-Chi.
Yeah, I hear you.
what
Well,
scene is this?
Oh, what?
Oh yeah, that's when his dad confronts him. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's at the
Mandarin
end.
and Shang-Chi.
Yeah. It's been
Yeah.
a while since I've seen it. That's why I was like, oh.
Yeah. Another hashtag not my Mandarin. Was
Man,
that-
it's been fun. Thanks for coming, guys.
It's just
thank
a
you for
crap.
inviting us.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
look forward
thanks,
to
man.
Yeah, I look forward to having each of you on again soon. Have a
Yeah, I know. Honestly, Giratina, I thought this was your Rambo stream. That's why I got excited because I saw that you're gonna have a Rambo stream. I just recently rewatched all the Rambo movies, so
thank
I was
you.
like, oh.
So you're having a Rambo stream soon, Sergeant?
Yeah, September.
Oh, okay.
Oh damn, this is a little.
That'll be
Yeah,
cool.
I'm gonna-
But I'm excited for that, bro. Because
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you all for coming.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, be sure to tune into my channel.
yeah, hopefully,
Nice.
when you have your next one, hopefully I can find time. Like I said, you always invite me, but I'm always I usually I'm busy at night, so that's why I always try to
Understood.
find time. But hopefully,
Yeah.
Watching gay vampire movies.
hey man, I'll never apologize for
No
that.
shame. No shade. No shade.
I'll never
No
apologize.
shade, man. No shade.
See,
Yep.
look,
I think I'm
you
gonna
just-
watch the first Blade movie tonight.
There you go.
I miss OG Blade.
Planet.
I'll
There's
just-
only gonna be one blade.
No, I'll just end it with one reprieve, Fletcher. For all the hate that the Twilight movies get, because I know people dunk on them, the Twilight movies have some of the best soundtracks like of all time. Like,
Hate those.
just check them out. It's some of the coolest bands around. So. Trust me, man.
It just gets worse. It gets worse and worse.
I mean,
You know, you gotta watch the Glitter Vampires because it has a very interesting soundtrack.
For
Yeah.
real,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
I mean,
I got you. I got you.
You got on one of them. You got like Radiohead and,
All right.
and
Radiohead.
Bjork and stuff. So it's
New
Okay.
York,
Definitely.
yeah, that
New York, yeah.
There
I like
you
New
go.
York, Yeah.
that's very
I'm just
heteronormative.
saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
As long as
All
it's
right,
not
guys.
cold.
Well, man, it was fun, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Sergeant. And
Yeah,
thank
thanks
you,
for
everybody
coming.
else.
Yeah, nice
Yeah.
meeting everybody too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you everybody for coming on. Take care.
Absolutely.
Yeah, farewell, guys.
Adios.
Bye.
Time to close the stream. Sergeant out.